Oh, he's doing it. Oh, is he gone?
It is gone.
Oh, he drank the ant. Oh, bro.
Oh. I think the Hooterade is worse than the ant.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, friends. Welcome to our brand new podcast, BEVS with Ben. I'm going to open a real beverage, not Hooters.
Not a Hooters.
Not my best play. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Cheers, man. We got some spice rum on the go. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
I hope you guys managed to grab yourself a drink. Hey, Sophia.
Please
how you doing?
do. Unless you're at work, then don't drink yet. Wait till you get home.
Depends
and
what
then
your
watch
job is,
this
though.
again. Oh, true.
Because I used to be a musician. Yeah,
really?
I've got a degree in popular music. Is what it is. We're getting sidetracked already. Here we go. So I play guitar. I could play some drums. I got a drum kit and stuff downstairs. Play guitar. But I remember when I was at uni, one of the first assignments we had, performance based, went out to a pub. And we all had like our groups. We all got like, you know, a drummer got put with a random guitarist, got put with a random bassist and singer and stuff. We all had there. We went out to this pub, and our lecturer was basically like, if you want to drink, go for it. You know, you are going to get graded, but in the real world, people drink. So there was a couple of people, you know, because it'd be like band one, then band two, and it was all filmed and it was graded and all that. But yeah, you could drink. So we had the opportunity to, and one of the guitarists who was in the band that was up last was just sat drinking pint after pint. After pint. Went up and he was slaughtered, man, and he like completely mashed his grade and everything. But it was pretty funny.
That's pretty much the DJ world as well. You could just drink. So
Love it.
my mentor when I first started learning how to DJ. By the way, Ben's chat, I'm a real DJ in real life. It's weird. You know, people usually are like, "Oh, DJ, is that your nickname?" It's like, no, that's my occupation. But I would go into work or go into watch him play and figure out what's going on. And we would go shot for shot, drink for drink the whole entire night. And he would be like, you need to be ready to play to the point if you're blacked out, like you have to be ready to DJ. So I'm going to get you drunk every night. And I was like, great, this is a great app. This is wonderful. And so I learned how to DJ while very, very intoxicated. I don't drink really very much of a beer here and there. Yeah. Those were the days. Every night was a mess. Anyways.
A drink per podcast. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Look for the stream, access CS2, no worries, happy. Yeah, but
welcome, friends.
Welcome.
I'll introduce myself. I'm DJMontague. I've played various video games. Ben and I have been orbiting around each other in different video games for probably the last 15 years, I would assume. But we came together in Lost Ark, and I wanted to start doing some work together. And this is a good opportunity with Diablo 4 coming out to really get something new and fresh for both us and you guys together. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. So yeah, I'm Bentley. As DJ said, like the first time I saw DJ and his streams, we were both streaming Lost Ark before launch in our Western version. We played in Russia, like me, Pete, and a bunch of other people. Hey, Cannon, big fan.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. Yeah, Cannon as well. Yeah, so that's how I got to know him, because it was a very small streaming community of English speakers that used to stream Lost Ark to a reasonably small audience before it came out. Like Stoops was there, you had Saint Tone, and then that kind of picked up. But that's how I got to know DJ. But yeah, I mean, going into my background as well, I started my YouTube channel basically doing Outriders, and I know you know Outriders, don't you?
Oh yeah. We were talking about Outriders. I remember when we first started chatting, you were like, "Oh, I used to do Outriders videos," and I was like, "Wait a second, hold the fucking phone. I have to look this up because I think I remember seeing your videos about Outriders."
Oh, there we go.
We were chatting about Outriders a little bit. Yeah,
that was interesting because it was a game that skyrocketed my YouTube channel from basically having like no viewers and no subs to like I don't know, I felt like I got really lucky because my YouTube channel just exploded of Outriders because there wasn't that many people making content for it, but there was clearly people who wanted content. Because a lot of the bigger creators jumped on it and went, nah, this is gonna crash and burn, which it eventually did and left. But it left a big gap for like me and a couple of other content creators to really like skyrocket up. So managed to get my first like 5,000 subs. Actually, not too hard. I tell you what, the first stream as well, DJ. I don't know if I told you this. First stream I did on YouTube after I had done a whole bunch of videos and guides and stuff for it was like 120 people, which blew my mind. First stream, I was like, oh my god, I got like a load of members, and then from there it just like picked up. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My first stream was me playing Shadowverse, the card game. I don't know if you ever have seen that. It's like Hearthstone, but it's very like anime style.
Right.
And I was like, I'll get into streaming, and then I started playing Shadowverse, and I had like 70 or 80 viewers on Twitch my first day, and it made me so nervous that I had to stop streaming. I was like, okay guys, thanks. I gotta head to work, and I just like sat there, and I was like, I ended the stream, and I just sat there for like 10 minutes, and I was like, why do people want to watch me, dude? Like, and I had to like have that conversation with myself of like, can I keep doing this? Now everything's like, hey, it's chill.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That is good. You definitely get used to it. I mean, I've had some big raids over the time. I've had like people like Stoops raid me. I've had like Zeals and stuff raid multiple thousands, bro. Like I know what you're talking about because you go from like you've got your crew in and you've got your community and you're chatting away and it could be like 20, could be 50, could be 100 people, but you kind of know your crew, and then all of a sudden you get like 2,000-3,000 people jump in and it's like, whoa, what do I do now? I'm not used to this, and the chat just goes like this or like crazy. It's interesting, man.
Sometimes can't keep up with that. Like,
that
stuff is wild. Hold on, I gotta add. I didn't realize I added you to my. I didn't add you to my title. Fix that real quick.
Oh, no worries.
Because you can add people in the title.
Yes, I've got you on mine. It's the first time I've done it, actually.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, friends, let's get right into it. I've wanted to chat with you about the beta. I know we chatted a couple nights ago. I kept Ben up late, and we literally talked for like an hour and a half about doing the podcast, about our opinions on about our opinions on Diablo. So we're well versed in what we want to talk about right now already. So let's start off with like, what's your opinions of how the beta went, stability wise? And like your first, I don't know if you played during the friends and family beta at all. Did you?
No. I started off with this one just first.
Okay. So, you got it. Oh, whoa! You can thank them.
Whoa! Not right side up. Oh my god!
Upside down, dude.
With the 20 gifties. Crazy. Oh my god, bro! Thank you so much. Right, that is
upside down. Thanks, upside down.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I met him pretty recently through Warlander. Actually, I started streaming Warlander, and that guy's nuts at Warlander.
Oh my god.
He's nuts at every game he plays, and he has been ingratiated into the fold of gamers that I game with.
Wow. But, well, thank you so much for the 20 gifties. Yeah. Big shout. So yes, so stability wise, when it first came out, I don't think it took me, I can't remember, I don't think it took me too long to get in, because I was there like, spam, go, you know, I was on stream, like, let me in. Got into the game, but it didn't last very long. I got kicked out reasonably quickly. Like, I was like level 2. I hadn't done a lot.
Oh, wow.
I killed a couple of like the wolves things at the start, got to that first like little town in all the snow. And then people in my chat was like, oh, I'm getting disconnected. Don't do this. I'm getting disconnected. Don't do that. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do now. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to take it slow and steady. And then I eventually got disconnected and it put me back to the home screen. And then everyone in chat was like, oh, bro, there's like over an hour queue. And I was like, oh, no. So I was like, okay, well, I'll stay on the home screen, your character select screen. And I was pressing start and it would come up with an error. I'd press start and it would come up with an error. And I was like, I'll just chill here for a minute and see if I can actually get in. And I kept pressing start. And after about 25 minutes of me being like, man, I don't want to quit and get into this queue, I eventually like gave in because it didn't let me in and then had to like join the queue. So That was my first experience. Run around to like level 2 when everyone in chat was saying that they were like level 5, level 6, level 7. I was like, how are you doing that? I was just taking it so chill. And then I got like kicked out and then straight into the queue. How was yours? Did you get in quick?
We talked about it. My chat knows about it, but my internet went out for 13 straight hours at 8:55 a.m. PST, which is 5 minutes before servers went live. So I was live, ready to party. I was here sitting in the chair. I had a green screen. Everything was good. I had food. I was ready for the day. I was ready to stream for 15 hours straight, and then that's what happened. I got internet wrecked. My internet service provider was down for 13 hours. But when I did get in around 10 o'clock at night, it was pretty chill. I think I had like a 20-minute queue, and I didn't really have any disconnections or anything like that. It wasn't really any server instability at that point. I know that they had done some work on stretching the queues out so that people were very staggered getting in, so it made it a lot easier on the servers in general for people. So more stable. I was surprised, honestly, at how stable it was from that point on. I'd heard a lot about the horror stories of people having the 2-hour queues, but I remember playing like any sort of WoW release, and like this was gravy compared to sitting in queue for 16 hours, leaving your computer on, and if you're AFK for 30 minutes, then you get kicked out, and that's it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, that was something actually that surprised me. There was no AFK kick out.
Yeah,
there was none. There was none at all.
One, I think there ended up being one later in the weekend.
Okay.
Like I think Saturday, I got kicked out a couple times leaving it on, but I wanted to test that as well.
Right. Maybe it was just longer.
Or not Saturday, it was Sunday. Yeah.
Longer than I
remember.
I
left it on. I left it on all night the first night, to test, and I was still in game when I logged back in.
Nice. No, okay, that's
when
nice.
I got back on. So
yeah, no, that's great, because yeah, I had managed to like, leave it on for almost like an hour. Like went and got some food, went and did this, left it on, and I was surprised about that. But as you said, like the first night was pretty bad. Like there were disconnects, there was errors coming up, people were getting kicked out, and then you have to go into that like huge queue. But after that, once they sorted it, because they there was an article released, like a I'm not sure if it was like one of the like gaming companies, whatever. It did like an article with them and spoke to the developers, and they said that they were doing like loads of testing, and obviously that's something for it. But they after that, like Saturday and Sunday and then like Monday, there's like no queue. You could jump like straight in. So if they have anything, if they've learned from that, tomorrow I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping we're not really gonna get queues. We'll see what happens. But...
Bro, I will say I'm 100% sure we're gonna have gigantic queues because I mean, you're looking at a free open beta. Like it's gonna be a long. Let's say that
pure copium from my end then.
Yeah, pure copium. It's gonna be like probably, I'm assuming, probably 4 to 5 times as many players as they had in the first one. Because also everybody's coming back for Druid and Necro, because I mean those are Druid not so much, but Necro being one of the iconic Diablo classes. Like everybody's got to come back and play a Necro, you know? Yeah. So man. I think it's gonna be pretty wild.
I'm really excited for Necro.
Oh, me too.
Right.
Speaking of, so let's go into let's chat about some classes. How did you feel playing the game as coming from Lost Ark, coming from Diablo? In general, like you've played Diablo 2, Diablo 3, right?
Yes.
You grew up on Diablo.
Yeah.
From everything you've played, how did it feel? How did the game feel?
Do you know what? Coming from Lost Ark, where the burnout could be quite real, from all the dailies and everything like that, right? It was like a breath of fresh air. Coming into a game that I knew was going to be more casual friendly, and I could just kind of sit back and go in and just relax. Hold on, I've got a ban.
I saw that.
Yeah, let me just ban that. Yeah, so I could just like.
If you want, by the way, if you're comfortable with it, my mods, since I have a few mods here, and I assume Nate is probably in both chats. You can mod Nate, which is Spawn.
Okay.
And he would be able to help out with that. I trust Spawn with my life. I sent him
So-
a video card recently
Nice.
for free.
Okay,
'cause
well,
I
if
love that
Spawn, if you could say something in my chat, I could do that. I could do that, brother. Yeah. So it was like a breath of fresh air, really, coming in, and I could just, I already felt like I could just relax with it, even though it was like limited time during the beta, and there's loads of stuff I wanted to do, loads of footage I wanted to get for YouTube videos, stuff like that. I was like, okay, let's go in and let's just take it chill. And I was enjoying the story a bit, and maybe a bit too much from the limited time we had, because I wanted to enjoy the cutscenes and do this. And it felt great to just like pick a class and go through and like kill a few wolves and start the quest. And yeah, for me, because I know it's going to be, I've been using the term like, you know, Blizzard can kind of like get games from, or get like inspiration from like this game, like PoE, get it from Lost Ark, get it from there, and they're like bringing them all in to Diablo's, you know, MMO influence and stuff like that. But it's kind of watered down, not necessarily a bad way, because it's for the masses, right? So it makes it more casual friendly. So I kind of like the idea that it could be more casual friendly, although you could still play a hardcore character and then try and get to like end game leaderboards, and you can still play it like competitively. Stuff like that. But yeah, it was just pleasant starting it. How did you find it? Like just making a character jump into the world?
It was one of those experiences like for me, like pretty cathartic when you have that feeling of being able to play something you've looked forward to for so long. You know, like Diablo 3 came out, it didn't feel like a Diablo game, so to speak. Not necessarily Diablo 3 being a bad game. I love Diablo 3. I think it's very fun. But Diablo 4 was like a true successor. So like logging in for the first time of Diablo 4, it was a very like, it's like almost therapeutic to get that release of, you know, the serotonin, and you're like, yeah, this is the oxytocin. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know brain
oxytocin. Oxytocin.
Yeah,
I think is what it is.
that's what. Yeah, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is
the dopamine hit
right
as well.
Here. Yeah, that dopamine hit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So I, you know, and they had, you know, one of the classes I wanted to check out, which was sorceress and sorcerer, and I was like, you know what, like this is just an all around, the feel of it coming from Lost Ark, like playing competitive Lost Ark PvP and stuff like that, like it felt good. It just felt good to play. There are a few things that I have issue with. We'll get into that when we talk about classes and stuff like that. Like more so like focused, but like the game in itself feels good to play, and I was very excited about it. That's what I was worried about the most, was that like Lost Ark comes in so fluid and you have so much control. And then I was worried that we would have a similar situation where we have like, I don't know if you played like Last Epoch.
I haven't yet.
Okay. So I was worried that classes would feel less, or more spammy like Diablo 3, which again, I'm still worried about that, and we'll talk about that later as well.
For sure.
But the initial feel was very, very crisp, and I quite enjoyed it. And I was surprised at how well it ran for a initial beta. So
yeah, although memory leak.
Yeah, the memory leak.
The memory leak, bro, because it was crashing my OBS, and I know there was quite a few other streamers as well that had this issue. My OBS would just crash up. My Streamlabs OBS would crash up, which is what made me swap to OBS, which was better, but then that would crash and knocked up. Apparently turning your textures from high down to medium was like the key to like trying to sedate that at least a little bit. That was key. But then I reached out to another guy I found on Twitter, actually, funnily enough, who'd gone through some settings, and he told me a few settings he did to like, and he was like testing the memory because he was having an issue. Just like a random streamer that I'd found on there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, so managed to sort that down, because that was a bit of a pain trying to get on that sorted. But anyway, from there, what I want to know about, how was your like first like moments, your journey? You made your character, and what did you start with?
I started with a sorceress.
Yeah, you started with sorceress. What did you do? Tell me like what you did, like what kind of build you went, and as you were going through like a little bit of your the start of your adventure.
Yeah. So my friends were all in. I had like a few people from my Discord that were all in, and they were like, DJ's online, we're all making new characters, let's hop in with him immediately. So I was like, okay, well, I kind of wanted to experience the story solo, but you know, just get in. I need to start leveling a character. I need to be able to test stuff. As a streamer, you know, or a content creator in general, there's one of the things where you feel regularly like you have to play the game a different way. You don't get to enjoy it as much as like playing offline or something like that. Like you have to create content, so you have to be the fastest, or you got to be the smartest, or you got to be the funniest, or whatever it is. There's always that like little pressure, that nagging feeling that you get in the back of your head. And you can't just enjoy something for what it is for a few minutes. So when I logged in, I was already live. I was already like, all right, let's hop in, let's start leveling up, let's get going. But I want to watch the storyline. And I had a few friends that were like, they were skipping cutscenes, they were already ready to go, and I'm like, all right, that ain't gonna work. Like I gotta watch this, I gotta like get dialed in. So it was a little bit like that kind of aspect I understand from their perspective. They'd already been playing for 13 hours. They want to, you know, play the other characters and stuff. Whereas I'm playing for the first 5 minutes, and it was a different kind of experience there. But otherwise, like the storyline, the initial parts of the storyline, I was really excited about, because D3's storyline fell so flat for me. And it felt like finally, like you get that darker tone, you get the atmosphere of Diablo, you get that true Diablo experience where shit is dark, and not only color wise, but like storyline wise, characters that you can give a crap about are gonna die, chances are. And while you are the hero of the storyline, everybody else is like, I guess, more influential. You're just there to beat monsters, you know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate that, and that's like one of the things that I really enjoy. Like, you're almost like a One Punch Man. I don't know if you watch One Punch Man, but
I've seen One Punch.
Yeah, the omnipotent character, the most powerful being on Earth. The storyline is not about you. It's like Superman, and it's like everything else happening around you is so important, and you are just like this
force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, you're there experiencing the world as a god, almost like Dr. Manhattan shit. So anyways, yes, I thought they did a good job of like giving your character some sort of fallibility, where you drink the petals of Lilith, and you have that moment where you're like, that moment of weakness, you're seeing Lilith, all that stuff, and like that was really cool. They did a great job. Like, and then going forward, you're like, okay, this is why. There's a good reason. I'm not just like in D3, where you're just like, oh, you're Haradrim, Nephilim, you know, you get all that information where they basically say, you're a god, go do god stuff, have fun. So
go do god stuff.
Yeah. So
Meteor crashing down, go check it out.
Yeah, check that out. There's probably a primeval over here. You should punch him in the face. If you punch him hard enough, he won't come back. And you're like, cool, I'll go do that. Yeah. So I thought it was for the initial first act, I think far better than D3's first.
Amazing.
How are you feeling about the storyline?
Yeah, the storyline, bro, I was loving it, because I know what you were talking about a minute ago about like the streamer pressures, about having to like be like first or rush up there and do that. Do you know what? I let all that go. I just chucked all of that away when I played. And I was so slow. As I said, like I got to that first town and everyone in chat was like, yeah, I'm like level 7. I'm like level 5. And I was like, bro, I'm like level 2. But I was watching all the cutscenes, and then I would stop and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I feel like, and I was talking about like how I like my reactions and how I felt about it all. And it was really refreshing to do that. And so I just let it all go, and I was like, fuck it, let's just take it, chill, and do it. And I did that for like pretty much the whole story. Like I didn't skip anything. I watched all of the cutscenes, and bro, I was hooked. Every time a cutscene came on, I was like, "Whoa!"
Everybody, shut the fuck up! We're watching the
stream. Shut up! I'm watching this. Oh, bro, it was so good. I was actually heavily invested.
I didn't watch the story all the way through until Sunday evening. So I had already maxed out my sorceress. I did the world boss a couple times. I was like already done, and like going around and doing all the other stuff, and like doing the altars of Lilith and doing the side dungeons. before I finished the storyline on Sunday.
Wow.
I had made another rogue and finished it with my rogue.
Jeez.
So
I think I got about 4 altars of Lilith the whole time. I didn't really explore too much. I went and did like dungeons, but I didn't like 100% the map with exploration. I was too lazy to do that.
You'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Necromancer, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
it's worth. I mean, it's worth for stats.
Yeah, I mean, I got renown up to level 3, whatever it was. There was like 5 levels, but 2 of them were locked. So I maxed out the renown and got the skill points and stuff like that. But yeah, going through like the altars of Lilith and stuff, like I know there's a map on, like an interactive map online. And that got linked to me in chat, and that was like all the locations and the map and stuff was there, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that now in the beta. I'll do that another day. But yeah, I really enjoyed.
That brings up a good point.
Yeah,
because we can, I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but we can kind of segue into people's opinions and like the idea of seasons when it comes to this giant of a map.
Pretty huge.
How are you feeling? I don't know how many seasonal games you've played, but how are you feeling about a seasonal business model and this map currently, and what you can infer from it, like Paragon and obviously more altars of Lilith, probably 5 times as many, more dungeons. How are you feeling about that so far?
So what I really don't want to happen is you to have to like farm out all the altars of Lilith and stuff every season, because I don't want to have to like go, okay, I'm going to spend the next like 2 hours and have to do this every season. Like, you know, once you've finished the storyline and do it, to just go around and farm all the altars of Lilith and just be like snooze fest. Once you've done it once, like, I hope that they don't reset things like that, but I don't know. So that kind of worries me a little bit, just because that's going to piss off a lot of people. If it's going to piss me off, it's going to piss off a lot of people. So I really hope.
I'm on the other side.
Are you? Oh shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and explain the rest of your side, and then I'll do the devil's advocate.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So maybe you just want to explore around a bit, but I don't want to like have to repeat that and repeat that and repeat. I don't mind doing like the dungeons and stuff, because you know you're killing things and you want to get loot, and I just want to like get in there and just get a nice build going and destroy things. But like one of the biggest thing for me going into this is because I want to really like focus down on Diablo and make loads of content, loads of builds, shove loads of stuff up on YouTube, stuff like that. Is I don't want to get bored of it. So seasons for me, if they do it right, is going to be like a constant refresh where I can go into it and I can re-enjoy the game. And what I'm really hoping the most actually is that whatever they do with seasons, to make it fresh every season, that is fun. Like if they add in like a new mini game and stuff. Like I haven't done too much seasonal stuff, but I remember I did PoE, Path of Exile, and I jumped into, there was a season Blight. And I was talking about this in stream the other day. It was almost like a tower defense game that they'd like mini game that they'd put in. So you would do like the normal game, but that season you had I can't remember what it was, corrupted maps or something. If you guys play, you'll know what it is. But there was like blighted maps or so. You'd go in and then it'd be like a almost like a tower defense, all these like vines and stuff that went up, and you'd literally like build towers, and it was kind of fun. I actually really enjoyed that. And you get at the end of it, you get loads of loot like coming out, and it was just like for to fuel that dopamine hit, and that was fun. So if they do something like that every season and pull it off with Diablo, then I'm looking forward to the seasons, because it gives me a chance to reset. If they tweak some things, gives me a chance to learn new builds, what's new meta for this season, enjoy like a new kind of mini game. And yeah, keep it fresh. Maybe I'll get really into like making hardcore characters or something, because then if it dies, I've got something else.
I think that's so much hardcore characters in general. Obviously, I think that's like the renewable content. If you plan on playing Diablo for the foreseeable future, it's like you make like a normal character, like we talked about offline. You make a normal character, you go through the game, you learn mechanics on bosses, and then you come up with some sort of a build, and then you go into hardcore and you infuse defensives into that, so you're not dying in one hit. And then you've got a whole entire new experience with Diablo. You're a little more patient, you're a little more meticulous with how you take your fights and stuff like that. But you know, like I think that's a lot of content,
which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I am too. I'm super excited for hardcore characters in general. I'm like I said, I'm personally on the opposite side. Like Altars of Lilith, dungeons, that type of stuff as horizontal content. We come from Lost Ark. Horizontal content is incredibly useful, but not the focal point. And a lot of people pass over it because you just don't have time. Now, I feel like Diablo could do it right where, or Diablo 4 could do it right where horizontal content could be, one, worthwhile, two, potentially fun. I think the Altars of Lilith thing from a speedrun perspective is kind of cool in that regard. How fast can we clear an entire game map, go forward with more content than just like Diablo 3 style where we're going to do greater rifts until we're all level, you know, max level paragon leveling up. And in that regard where it's a lot less in scope. So you're a lot more pinpoint focused, level up, get your gear, get into greater rifts, get your gems leveled up, and then clear as high a greater rift as you can, get on the leaderboard. And then you're done with the season. I think that there could be a lot more to Diablo where you're like, all right, it's not just dungeons, it's not just Altars of Lilith, it's not just getting to max level, it's not just Paragon, it's not just leveling up, it's not just like the whole gearing process that wasn't D3. There's more to it. So you can have like every season like another week of playing the game rather than just the 1 week and you're like, I'm done, you know.
Yeah,
so that's my opinion of
it. I mean, that's fair. I mean, what I'm hoping for like replayability and stuff is when it comes to like PvP, things like that, because if PvP is good, then it definitely gives you something to keep going with, because you can make like every season you can make a sorceress, you can make a necromancer, you can get them both to end game, get them like really well geared. But as we were kind of talking about like offline the other day, I'm the kind of person that really enjoys the progression, but once I'm there, I'm kind of done. And this is where it's like, you know, if I had a character, saying like Lost Ark, if I had swiped and got a character,
Ben, real quick, you keep talking to them. I'm gonna move my shoes because Mapete is bothered by my shoes right here. I'm also bothered by them. I forgot they were there in the middle of the podcast. I'm like, I should probably.
How could you have your shoes there in a podcast? Oh,
I'm sorry.
Bro.
I'm sorry.
So disrespectful. What do you think? What do you think, chat? The shoe. Oh, they're coming. Sponsored. Oh man. Yeah. So as I was kind of saying, like, I really enjoy the progression. Hey, welcome back. I was just saying, I really enjoy the progression of a game. So another game that I was kind of talking to DJ about this the other day is Ark Survival Evolved. If any of you guys have ever played that, it's like the dinosaur crafting game. The most fun that game is for me is when I just start and I've got like a brand new character and I don't know where I'm going to build a base. Like no matter what server I've done, I've played it on and off over the years quite a bit. When I just start and I'm like, okay, let's pick up some rocks and get some twigs and do this. But by the time I've like built a base and I've got all the big dinos and I've got like this, and I make like this epic base and I plant the last like defensive turret and I'm like, cool, it's done. I'm like, I might as well log off now. I'm like done. And I'm really hoping that Diablo doesn't have that same thing. And that's where like Lost Ark caught my attention for so long, because it's so hard to get to like to max with like a roster, you know?
I just imagine you building like the Sistine Chapel and you just kind of look at it and you're like, all right, time to go. See you guys later. Done with that. And just
See you now.
away forever. Never to look at the beauty of what you've created again.
Well, that's kind of like chat. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that's like that? Like once I've done it, like if with Diablo 4, if I get to like end game with a character, say I wasn't streaming, I wasn't making content, I wasn't doing this. If I got to like end game, I would use that character and I was doing like the max level nightmare dungeons that we get, and I've got this OP character, amazing build, and I blitz like a load of them. I'd be like, cool, I think my build's done now. I'm like demolishing everything. I'd run the 100 like a bunch of times, and then be like, yep, cool. What's next? Like make another character, do this. That's where like PvP for me could be really strong in this. You just go and do some PvP, and you can take that character and still use it in other ways, but maybe leaderboards.
I'm worried about PvP, man.
Oh,
We'll talk real quick on PvP. Like, obviously, I come from Lost Ark, man. PvP is very stringent, and like the idea of PvP in that game is like combos are very consistent, but it's very much like a Smash Brothers style fighting game where, like, if I'm on the offensive, I am in control of the map, and I'm in control of you and me, right? Because I'm dictating whether you're knocked up or knocked down. In Diablo, with CC being as strange almost so far to me, I worry about PvP as also playing Diablo Immortal. I don't know if you played much Diablo Immortal, but I played a lot of it.
No, I didn't touch it.
PvP in that game was a fucking mess, to be honest. It was obviously there's the like having a leaderboard in that. There's just like it's so pay to win. It was a nightmare, and you were supposed to be put in brackets where you're fighting against people that had the same amount of money spent as you, which is just like mind blowing to me anyway.
Yeah,
like Immortal was a mess. So coming from D2's PvP, which is farm hundreds of hours until you get to end game gear, then go do PvP. And then D3 PvP, which is non-existent in the original game, and then they added it for the expansion a little bit. And then Lost Ark, which is just like almost perfect to me. I love PvP in Lost Ark as an arena, not as like open world PvP was nice. and then seeing like Diablo 4 and like they haven't really showed much of PvP yet, kind of worried.
Yeah, what I personally hope from Diablo 4 PvP is that it's kind of equalized and it's not just like this person. I don't know how they're going to do it. Man. And they're not going to add any kind of arena or anything like that. But if it's not like equalized to a degree or like balanced, then it's literally just who's going to be like having the most time to farm up some stuff. Maybe they get really lucky with like an Omega Giga Chad, like unique item or something that makes a build just like incredible. Because they're going to come into the Fields of Hatred and fucking steamroll. Can you imagine having like a god roll character? It might be quite funny if it's you. Like if I had a steamrolling character, jumped in and saw like 8 people PvPing, and I just went up with like a barbarian, just like whirlwind and one shot everyone. It's like, and they all just watch them all try. You'd die. You could have a good like laugh about it, but it's not balanced. It's not fun for everyone else. No, if you just get one shot.
I mean, they had people in Diablo Immortal. I don't know if you watched any videos of that, but that's a prime example of what you're talking about, where people would have tens of thousands of dollars spent in the game, come in with like extremely OP gear, and literally one shot the 18 people on the other team immediately. 18. I think there was 18 people in a game. It was 9v9 or something like that. I forget. 10v10. Anyways, but you literally had. I mean, you have videos of like Quinn going into PvP and just like doing like a scatter shot on Demon Hunter, and 3 people die, and you're just like, lol, like what the fuck is this, right?
Wow.
So obviously the gear disparity is a worry, and coming from Lost Ark again, like item level being so prevalent in open world PvP, that's why I liked Arena so much. Everything being equalized, and nobody has more skill points than anybody else. Nobody has better gear in that regard. It was all about your build and how you played. And I worry that that D4 can stray very far in the other direction of like gear disparity is too much to overcome. And, you know, the random proc chance of freezing somebody versus chilling them, that stuff worries.
Yeah, I just hope that they are able to balance it in some regard, because PvP will probably just completely die and there'll be none of it if there is no kind of equalization for it and people just one tap.
Yeah.
Because why would you want to go in there if you've got like a weaker character or something? You're just going to either not do it or wait. But the other thing is, the other thing that really worries me about PvP is grouping, because obviously you can group in there and that's going to give you a significant advantage, clearly. If you're with 4 people against like, there's one person by himself, then maybe a group of 2 in another area, Fields of Hatred, and you're just looking to steamroll, then you could do it. But then there's also the other side on top of this where people don't have to flag. They don't have to flag on for PvP. So they could just be there.
There is the field of hatred or fields of hatred. You do have to flag for the material though. You can't just farm mobs for that specific material that's only in the fields of hatred.
The seeds of hatred, are you sure? Because my information says different. From what I've seen, you can literally PvE.
Oh.
You can just go in there and PvE.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, but so from what I know of it, which could be wrong, you can go in there as like PvE, not flag. You can kill loads of monsters to get seeds of hatred, but as soon as you go to one of the altars to crush that from the seeds into the red dust, it will automatically flag you for PvP when you do that, and send out like a notification or whatever, and basically be like, this guy on the map right here is trying to crush his seeds, like come kill him and steal his seeds. So that will flag you. So it might just be like ganking around altars.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's just gonna be
chilling around altars. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like group up, go in PvE and kill loads of monsters. This is what I'm worried about. Yeah, get off my seeds. Just group up, go and farm loads of PvE, kill load of monsters and get these seeds, and then just like as a group go to the altar. You know, you click on the altar, it'll start crushing your seeds or whatever it is, and then it sends out a big message saying that, and then you all of a sudden see like these teams fucking converge, and that's where PvP might say, yeah. Or everybody might just group and go their own ways and be like, this is my other concern, is everybody grouping for PvE and thinking it's more efficient to farm these PvE only, get loads of seeds, and then go to the altar and everybody just ignores it, and you just crush your seeds into red dust, unflag for PvP again, or however that works, and then just go and do it some more.
Yeah, I feel like there's
and then it
that
might
kind
not
of
be none.
system, because like when you're doing a lot of World of Warcraft is gonna be a prime example here, because obviously in the beginning there was no flag system on PvP servers. You were just PvP. Like when you entered a PvP area, there was PvP. You can get ganked by whoever, fight literally everybody. You know, like, and I mean, this is back in the day of like, my boomer is showing, but back in the day of like vanilla WoW, where you entered into Crossroads and you were like, okay, this is like horde territory. I'm gonna have to fight. I'm gonna have to be meticulous. I'm gonna have to be careful not to get anybody on my screen. You know, like that kind of worry. I would like to see that, because I'm a PvP person. And I want to outplay people. You know, I want to outsmart somebody. That's my if I'm going to get seeds of hatred, I'm going there for a reason, because I know this zone's PvP oriented and I can make more if I play well. You know, and that's my thing. And I hope they don't take that away, because I've from what I've heard, that seeds of hatred is a really good way to gear up anyway. So that does definitely worry me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of PvP, what's your initial feel on class balance so far? I mean, there's only 3 classes. I don't know how much you really.
So yeah, I mean, this leads me to
sorry, Garzi, I'm gonna fucking wreck your shit. Right? Just so you're aware. Okay, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I mean, this question we can kind of pre-start this with, like, what characters did you get in the first beta? Like, what did you make and at what levels?
I got both rogue and sorcerer to 25.
Okay, because I got
them both full legendary geared out. My sorcerer obviously being more so geared out, because I played it first and like creating my frost build. Oh, you asked that earlier and I passed right over it. I made a frost build. I've said it from the beginning that sorcerer's enchantments are so weird. I like them, but then again, I hate them a little bit because of how overpowered they can be. Obviously, there needs to be some changes. We'll talk about that when we break up the classes, probably in a few minutes here.
Yeah.
But I played sorcerers and rogue. I thought rogue felt incredible to play. That class I played melee rogue, had a blast.
Bro, I had the same thing. So I got a mage to 25, I got a rogue to 25, and then on the last day I had a little bit of time that I was kind of like chilling, doing some other things, but I was leveling a barbarian a bit and testing out some fawns, and I got some footage up on YouTube, really funny like fawns bar, but it was like level 10 or level 11. But yeah, like when it comes like the class balance and that, like it's very clear to everybody that sorceress is very strong in these early levels in the beta. Like I've got a couple videos up on YouTube of like a frost sork and a fire sork that are kind of similar concepts, but like Hydra, bro, chat, Hydra, right? Ignite a sork, Robin's saying. Hydra's busted. It's so strong. And then you've got the cooldown reduction from the ice sword. And that was just crazy busted.
While we're here talking about this, we could bring up if you want to go to the other scene real quick, we can bring up the videos and show that
true.
That Asmongold clip. I added it to the list.
Okay. Hold fire. Let me just bring this up a second.
This is how real podcasters work, friends.
Real, yeah. Just figuring this out. So
together.
Have you brought it up?
I have it expanded. It's the video playing right now.
It's not playing for me. Hold on.
Oh, it's not playing yet. I haven't clicked play. You can click play when you're ready. I just have it. I'm ready to show
pressure on
everything.
Sorry, I've got something coming through though. Hold on. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, no worries. Can you play it?
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, I can't see anything. Hold on. Expand video. I've actually got Cannon's video there. Hold on. Do I need to refresh this?
Weird. Should have came up for both of us. That's weird.
Not there.
Oh, are we still in the same watch party? Question marks now. The watch party's dead.
Oh, did it die? Did it?
No, it's fine. I'm speculating on everything all the time.
Right, so I can't see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got broken classes. Is it that one?
Agree.
Broken classes?
Yep, the Diablo 4's most broken class.
Yeah. So
yeah, you played it. Perfect.
It's not showing up though. I've just got a black screen. Let me drag me back into Discord. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I've joined you back.
Drag yourself.
Yeah, actually, I just want with that. So join activity. Let me see if this reloads. It just blacked off, guys. I'll get to this in a second. So you're sharing. Now I can see it. Yeah, it was just blacked off. Okay, so I can expand this. Bring this one up. Okay. So yeah, so some of these classes. It'd be funny to have Asmongold here. Some of these classes were like really. I mean, look at this. You got 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Hydra dead. Like 5 seconds to kill a boss. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, smile.
I love that. Look how happy he is. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyways, one prime thing we should talk about with this though is that this is also the second level of difficulty. Monsters are going to have 2 to 3 times more HP than that in the final torment or whatever it is, and then beyond that they're going to build more difficulties as well. So this is a pretty, like, it's a good indication of like the difference between Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4 in terms of time to kill is not going to be that much because of how fast you're able to actually kill stuff. Everybody was saying that Diablo 4 was going to be the more slow game, the more meticulous game. And as you continue to play it, you realize how fast it can actually be.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've just brought up, this is like a fire sork build that I put up on YouTube. And it's crazy because I thought the same thing. I thought this was going to be a slow paced game where, you know, you come up against a group of enemies and it's not going to be just like bam and kill them all. The other thing is here though, is it you should be able to click the arrow full screen it. It is full screen, but this is just how it goes. It's fine. We'll just have it like this reason. Yeah, when I got into like a group of enemies, like you'll see here, I just got like an AoE build and they explode. But we are level 25 with like a full build. That's the other thing is when you're leveling, if you just keep pushing, you're not going to like stop to sort out and farm out a build and stop at 25. You know, you're going to find pieces that are like an upgrade and you put them on. You're going to get to level 30, then you're going to put it on. You might have to, you know, you might get like a nice legendary like aspect or something that you can pull off once and put it on. But then there's also the Codex, right, that you can keep putting on gear as you go. But that doesn't have everything. So say there's like one key legendary aspect, you might find it and be like, that's great for like 10 levels. And then you pull it off and you put it on another bit of gear and it's great for another 10 levels, but then you can't pull it off again. So if you don't find it again, it might slow things down if that's like critical for your build. But I honestly, I did think that this was going to be a lot slower and it ended up being like, I don't know, I felt like I could just like nuke through. As you can see like here, like a lot of this footage here, like I'm basically not stopping running. I'm just like planting a Hydra, doing like a fireball, you know, CCing and blowing up the whole group. And then I wasn't picking up gear at this point because I was just kind of showcasing the build. But look, it just annihilated through. But do you know what? I really honestly thought playing it, and from everything I'd heard about it being slower, I was really looking forward to it being slower. And then when I started doing this, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed myself. Like I really enjoyed it. This is the thing with
these games is that it is important to be able to do this. One, because if you're going through a long dungeon, every single engagement being life and death is going to get monotonous. Or monotonous in the regard of, or stressful, I should say. Not
stressful.
Monotonous. Yeah, and so a lot of people will be turned off of if it's like Elden Ring, where you know. I know Elden Ring got Game of the Year. I know that game is phenomenal, by the way. I love Elden Ring. I think it's a fantastic game.
Great game.
But that's a good example of difficulty being too much for certain players. And this, again, like you talked about before, it is lowest common denominator when it comes to gaming. It's your entry level daddy's first Diablo, you know? It's this game, right? It's like it hasn't been like it's not Path of Exile intricate. It's not last epoch choice based, you know. It's Diablo. It feels like this. It feels good to play, and it's going to be enjoyable. I think that they did a good job with the pacing of fights so far. And again, like you said, you know, like where you get stuff for, you said it was the Crucible, or what was it called for
what?
The Oculist guy, or the Occultist
guy.
Yeah,
you get the aspects.
Yeah, the aspects. What was the other thing you said about it? They're like the aspects are the ones that go into your inventory. There was the other thing that stays.
That's the
with
Codex.
The occultist.
So you got the Codex, but then you could pull off an aspect, and then you could pop that onto an item.
So with the occultist, being able to say, okay, you know what? It's a new season. I want to play Necro. I know where these Necro Codex entries are, so I can use the entry level of this legendary passive to create this build and go from there. Oh, my connection got lost for a second. That was weird. Okay, now it's back. Anyways,
Seems good to me.
Yeah, I like how they have the legendary system so far.
Yeah.
With like almost like a mixture of the Herodric cube or Kanai's cube, the aspects, that style of Codex. And it feels like I can still influence at a low level where I'm not just waiting until I get a full set at level 100 or whatever it is, and then I feel somewhat powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the Codex. The Codex of Power, I think, is great.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good addition. Yeah, it just means that you can at least get like a base level of a build going, like all the time. And you can start the game on a new character, knowing that you've already gone around and unlocked these. And then, just like get a Necromancer. Like you've made a sorceress, you've got through all the game, maybe you've done all the dungeons, you've locked them all, you've done a whole bunch, and you've unlocked some Necromancer ones. You make a Necromancer, and then you can pop them on. You can feel like that kind of early power straight away, which I think could be quite cool. Because there's the other side of this as well. You got like these characters doing this, but and like the legendaries dropping and the legendaries from the Codex of Power, but you've also got uniques, and this is where I'm hoping that uniques don't drop super often, but often enough to feel like, you know, everybody is getting a few, even like quite casual players get a few uniques because it could be quite cool. You know, if you can only play 3 hours every 3 nights through like a season, and you're trying to get all the way to level 100, and maybe you change character a few times, you do whatever. Got a family, you got your full-time job, whatever you're doing. I think if you can still get a few uniques as you go along, that'll be a nice experience, because that's what I mean.
Absolutely.
This Diablo, as you say, is kind of like a slightly watered down version of these other games like PoE, which makes it more accessible for the masses. And I say, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I don't know. I like the Codex power a lot. I think it adds a lot to the game, a lot of fun. I think it adds a lot of fun to the game. But the fact that it's only the minimum, like, dynamic range of a legendary aspect. So, you know, say one that does, like, I'm just say something basic. It does either, like, the legendary aspect could be an extra 10% crit chance, or 20% up to 20% crit chance. Obviously, it just gives you the lowest dynamic range. I like that system.
Yeah. So you're able to actually shoot for something where you're farming a particular thing. You're like, okay, you know, not only do I already have the aspect, but I want to get a little, like, 10 to 15% stronger.
Yeah.
That to shoot for is always gonna be something, and I like. I haven't seen this video yet. I want
to
watch this.
Yeah, I want you. This is a really short clip. So this is a barbarian, because you're talking about like class balancing and stuff. And a lot of people were saying, like we were kind of touched on a minute ago, that sorceresses felt really strong, and they do. And rogues I really enjoyed, and like Cannon's got a video up. I've got it up on here as well. We can watch it in a minute. Cannon
46,000.
It's 46K.
See you later, dude.
46K, which is ridiculous.
Like
Look at these. Let me go back here. Look at the numbers that he hits for. So it's like 125. Like these are like yellow, right? These are critting 800 with a bigger hit, 300, and then 46,000, and it just deletes the boss. Because there's loads of people that were saying, this is Cannon's video here. I'll pause this one. Loads of people were saying that like Barbarian felt really weak, and early on it felt really clunky, and I can agree with what I tried. Sork felt absolutely amazing the whole way through. Rogue was so mobile, because I'd already done the storyline. I chilled with my fire Sork. I made a fire Sork first, and it was just unbelievably cool experience to go through the game for the first time with that, and it felt good as well being a Sork. Then I made the rogue, and I wanted to speedrun it, because I didn't have tons and tons of stuff. I wanted to speedrun it. Having Shadow Step, your spacebar evade, which I put boots on, so I had 2 of them, and having dash, which comes with 2 charges, bro. Going through the storyline, well, I was like a fucking ninja. Zip, zip, zip. It was so good. Like for speedrunning stuff, oh my god, bro. Rogue is so good. But then you could put on Twisting Blades, which is the build here. I'll play this one as well. This is what Cannon's got on his Twisted Blades build, which is hella strong. I actually made this.
I think it's a lot of fun too. Like
Cannon's video.
When you're moving through fights with Twisting Blades, I think that was the most fun I had in Diablo 4 so far. Now I'll be making a melee necro build. I've kind of looked at what they'll be doing, so tomorrow I'll be working on necro.
Nice.
But yeah, like Rogue felt so cool. Like you feel the tone of the class, the mobility, all of that stuff really truly feels so separate from anything else in Diablo 4, at least. You know, you really feel good.
Yeah, like when I was playing Rogue, I felt like I was a rogue. Like I felt zippy. I felt like I was, because I did the same as you. Like I went melee. I didn't actually have a chance to try out ranged. I wanted to, but I didn't have enough time. So I just went melee, and I experimented with this build that we've got up, showcased at the minute, Cannon's build, and then there was another build as well, based around the other melee core skill, but I can't remember what it's called now, Flurry or something like that. I think I did it through Flurry, and you could like AoE basically like around you, and that was really useful. Like Twisting Blades, this build here really picked up by the time you got to kind of like level 20 or maybe 15, and you got Inner Sight unlocked. Which is this bit down here. This gives you like the infinite energy. You can see Cannon absolutely deletes this boss because he's basically got infinite energy. That felt that felt really good once you had it set up. But early on, I tried to do this early on, like without this, and it felt terrible. But Flurry felt amazing. So like early game leveling, I was super zippy, and then I think it's Flurry. I might be wrong. And it was just I would jump into the middle of things. It's like melee, and as I said, you shadow step straight in, and then I'd just go bam, bam, and then everything around me would just die. And it felt really cool because I could shadow step in instantly and then bam, everything died. I was like, that's cool. Like I felt like a nippy rogue. And then once I built this later on, oh bro, it was great. But it wasn't as good early, but once you got it going, this like ramp build with Inner Sight is literally incredible. Cannon basically solos this boss here, by the way. It's incredible.
Yeah. The amount of control that you have reminds me of Lost Ark. Because like this boss obviously isn't that hard. Ashava, when you first do it, you're like, oh shit, everything one shot. But it's not like all the attacks are all that hard to dodge. I mean, I played Brawl Shot, so I could dodge a lot. So
yeah.
I know my meteor placements, okay? I'm ready to go. Anyways, so the amount of damage that you could put out feels good. Oh, Cannon died. I'm just saying I didn't die.
He's in the pool. He's in the he's in the pool. Yeah, but remember this is his first. He's learning this as well. This is his first
go.
Yeah, this is his first go, man. He's learning it. Like
I died on.
I died to it a few times. The big swipe the world boss does, right? The big swipe it does. I was on my Sork, on my fire Sork. I had I was expecting to ice by this point. And I was standing really far back, and just this big swipe here that's going through. And I was stood like right near the end of that, and then I would teleport away and spacebar, and it still wasn't far enough because I would just get clipped by it. And if I got clipped, I had no poison resistance. Not that I even knew that it was going to be a poison boss or how much I needed something like that, right? But if I got clipped by it, I would spam pot about 3 times, and the poison would still be like taking up my whole back. You know what? When you get hit by like a debuff or a dot, right? And it will show you how much your health you're going to lose. Like you get hit by that, your health chunks down. Look at his life now. You see, you chug some pots. Then you can't outpot it if you don't have poison resistance,
right?
Unless maybe you're like high level, but you know, at level 25, as soon as it taps you, that's it. Like you're gone. And the amount of hardcore players that died to it, man, was crazy because you just get tapped. You don't know.
Watching those videos, that was crazy. Everybody I think like went in hardcore and they're like, I've played enough hardcore. I'm a hardcore god. And then they roll in and then they get one shot and they're like,
Shava hits them and they're like, oh, and they go pop, 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 and the character dies. And they're like, oh no, I needed poison resistance. And it was like, oh fuck.
Dude, that on its own is like, that's a wonderful aspect of these types of games. Like people do hardcore runs in World of Warcraft and stuff like that. They do like vanilla. You know, that's a thing that's evolved, is like creating cool like Iron Man runs and like old school RuneScape stuff like that. Like that's so great. And the fact that it has that in the game, like obviously I'm a big fan. I've talked about a lot about hardcore being the future of what Diablo 4 becomes, in my opinion.
I think so.
Potentially how I want to play too.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to play it. I really want to play it. But it depends on the person as well. Because if you're quite a casual player, then obviously you don't want to. Because if you don't have the time, I think hardcore is way more of a time investment. So if you've got the time and you really enjoy it, then I recommend giving it a go at some point. Like when the game first comes out, I would love to be able to start on hardcore, but I know I won't. And I'll tell you why. Because I want to be able to explore the game, and obviously being content creator, I want to be able to like get up to end game, showcase end game on streams, but also make builds and put them on YouTube. You know, like loads of other content creators stuff want to do. And it's gonna be glorious to be able to do that. But without knowing the game and going in on hardcore and then being like, you know, we've got this world boss here, which we pretty much know now. You know, I know it, you know it, I know Cannon, loads of people that have played it, like know the mechanics, you know where you can stand, you know where to dodge and all that stuff. But you know, imagine the next one, and every time on hardcore you get to it, you're going to be like, oh my god, like is this going to one-shot me? Do I need frost resistance? Do I need this? And on hardcore it's going to be too stressful when you want to get to end game to make content. So,
Nate asked about uniques. We talked about that a few minutes ago, but he asked about it in your chat, and I wanted to kind of touch on that as well.
Okay.
I don't know enough about uniques to have like a super informed opinion about them, but I do know they're linchpins of your build when you're creating a build in this game. Now, if we're talking about like 20 to 30% player power based on just one item, I'm cool with that. Like, to really bring everything together and solidify this build that you've created. If we're talking like several 100% of player power, like if you're talking like this build sucks balls until you get this particular item, that's kind of something that I don't like when it comes to this type of like in Lost Ark, if you're playing and you don't have the max amount of skill points, which at the time is 400, at the time I stopped playing, which was 402, right? Was it 402?
I think so.
Excuse me.
I remember that.
Okay.
I remember
So,
seeing 402.
either way, I didn't have max skill points from doing all the horizontal, but it changes for DPS players probably a 6% damage boost because you get one extra skill to level 10 rather than it being at level 8 or 9, or you get the extra tripod and stuff like that. That is important for a DPS character to a certain extent, but it's not completely build change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or completely game change. I worry about them becoming too far in the other direction of completely changing the entire playstyle based on one different piece of.
Right.
Like,
See,
I wanted to amplify what you're already doing. I like that.
yeah.
But again, don't want it to change completely.
Well, this is it. I mean, we'll find out when uniques people start getting them and we start finding out how powerful they are. But from what I had kind of heard is, I think it was from the developers in an interview, they kind of said it, the uniques are the kind of things that you make a build around, rather than having a build and getting a unique to be like, this is what it's for. You kind of find, especially at the start. I mean, maybe when you know all the uniques, then yeah, you can do that. You can kind of preempt it. But especially at the start, it's kind of like you've got your build with your legendaries, the legendary aspects you're going through. You kind of know what you want to do. And then you find a unique and then you're like, oh, that seems kind of cool. I'm going to build around that unique, around that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that we get stuff like that and it just is cool as fuck, because I think legendaries, from what we saw in beta, legendaries are going to be dropping left, right, center, right? We're going to get loads of them, unless the drop rate of them is a lot higher because it's beta. We don't know. We'll find out. But uniques are the things that they've said are going to take a while to do. There was a quote as well that they said that in a season, a lot of people will get like 1 or 2. And I'm assuming they mean like more casual players, because that's 3 months.
Okay.
And to only have 1 or 2 in 3 months, when they're talking about most people, you're probably talking people that have only got a couple hours to play every other night or every couple nights of things, like a lot of people would do. But
I was going to ask you about that, because you, as a family man, you're juggling the time in a game like this. I actually was thinking about another podcast that I wanted to start as well, because that's like my new meta, is that I'm just creating podcasts left and right.
Lovely.
But I wanted to call it the Main Game Podcast and talk about these games that are coming out and what's worth your time putting into something, and how rewarding it's going to be to you as a person that is just like a random gamer. Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Path of Exile, Lost Ark. Like, what is the worth to you, and how is it going to like impact your how much you play day to day? How much is the enjoyment going to be on an hourly basis when you can only play 5 hours a week? You know, like that's important things to note when it comes to stuff like that. A lot of people in World of Warcraft, it's been their main game for 13 years. You know what I mean? So you have these guys that haven't played anything else really all that much in 13 years.
Wow.
Are there other games like that? And is it worth to find? So that was something I wanted to talk about. How are you feeling from a family perspective of how the game feels already?
Well, that's what I mean. I think it is casual friendly from what I've seen. The Codex of Power kind of makes it so, because all you got to do, like if instead of spending hours and hours farming to try and get a legendary to make like a nice build, you just look on the map and it goes, this dungeon gives you this legendary aspect. And you can
Yeah.
even like search for it. You can go to the Codex of Power and go over like one that says like the second Hydra that you can summon for Saul. You can go over it. I think you can like right click it or do something, and it literally tells you where it is. Like it's so casual friendly.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like couch co-op and stuff makes this quite nice as well. The fact that you can, as a console gamer, if you're like completely casual and you can just like sit on your couch, have a mate over, you got brother or something like that. And you can just be like, there you go, there's a controller, and then you both just playing. You can teleport back to town and teleport straight to people. Like they've made it very casual friendly. So if you have lots of commitments, you know, that's what I mean. They've made it so that it's very accessible. A lot of stuff. And then when they put mounts in, it'll be a lot quicker as well to travel the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, you brought up mounts, and I want to touch on that. But my girlfriend just got a PS5, and I normally sit at this computer. This is my existence. This is like my circle is right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend up these stairs, she's got a PS5 now. And so the fact that I can crossplay, and like if I wanted to just sit upstairs and she's like, hey, you know, I know you have some stuff to do on your game. Do you want to come up here and hang out with me? I'll be playing on my Switch or something like that. That works so well for just being in the same room as your partner and being able to like enjoy the things that you want to do together. And that's like that together but separate. I think that's very, very cool that they're doing that for this game.
Yeah. So yeah, it's lovely.
Let's talk about the scope of the world, because I brought this up when you and I were talking about by the way, I know we're at about an hour and a half, right? We're at about an hour and a half live, but about an hour going into the podcast itself. Just real quick, everybody, these podcasts are sponsored by Gamer Subs, but both of us are sponsored by Gamer Subs.
Yeah.
Use either one of our codes. You're more than welcome, and it's delicious. Dragon Fruit Punch.
Dragon Fruit Punch. I tell you what, actually, while we're doing this for a second, cheeky little sponsor thing. Emotional damage, bro. I love this one. If you know Steven,
it's so good,
bro. It's so nice. So right, okay, let's not linger on sponsorship stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, so the scope of the world. How are you feeling about how big the world is so far?
So obviously we've only seen what's in beta. We've only seen the kind of one zone. When I was doing my kind of speed running my second character, and I was just doing the main storyline on my rogue, which is insanely mobile, I was kind of talking about before. I think it's like an hour, and I finished the first act. Like I knew what I was doing. I just like skipped through loads of things. AOE clear, skip AOE clear, skip AOE clear, dash. You know, it was so fast. If you're trying to speedrun it like that, just doing the main storyline, you might be able to do it quite quickly. I think as well, as I say, when we get a mount and we can run around the open world, there was a nice bit that you could run round, and I like the fact that I could run around. There'd be a few enemies here and a few enemies there. But I did zoom out on the map a bit, and I saw it, and I was like, okay, it looks like it could be a decent size. But didn't they also say as well that you can like... It's not like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, unless I got this wrong. It's like you start in this zone, and then you can basically just go where you want and do... Is it linear, or can you just go, I'm just going to go to this zone and do the quests there, then I'm just going to do that one?
There are areas that are higher level. Like everything won't always be your level that you're going into it with, but you can go wherever once you're available to move. Once you reach Kovashad, I think you could just walk across the world and go to the dungeon that you're looking to specifically go to and start building your build, right? You got to be level 15 to actually use the occultist, but you can start doing that immediately. Let's throw up the wall. We're just chilling.
Yeah, I've gone back to the other scene.
Oh, okay. Well, I got Canon talking because love that. Anyways,
yeah, absolutely.
So,
if you want it up
in the map, actually, you know what? I'll bring up a little bit of a map. If you want to do that while I'm talking, if you could bring up a video of the map or whatever it is. Anyways,
okay.
So the scope of it's a little bit more than, I mean, obviously what we have right now is just the like at least 1/5. if not 1/6, because there are supposed to be 6 acts in the game.
Yeah.
The storyline you can probably finish in probably 10 to 15 hours, I would assume, on your first go through. If you go straight through it and you're just doing storyline stuff. If you're going to speed run, I would say you probably finish it in like 3 to 4 hours, and you would travel pretty much everywhere in the world, but you'd be going straight there. You wouldn't stop, just in general. Also, I don't know if you've kind of seen older videos of Wudijo said that it will probably take people 35 hours for the first level 100. That's a great amount of time for everyone's level 100. That's fantastic. Also, to bring in like we've talked about Lost Ark a bunch because that's where we come from.
Yeah.
Lost Ark is a known quantity. Like there is a game, it came out 2.5 years prior in Korea than it did in America. Everything we did was laid out before us.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
And every choice, every build, everything is always coming from Korea, right? This game is releasing worldwide at the same time, right? And that's the most important thing about this game, is that we're all going to be able to experience it together for the first time.
I'm so excited
there
for
won't
that.
be like the guides are the content that you'll be able to create for this game, if you're looking to create content, is going to be so much more than you'd be able to do for something like a Lost Ark, like a Black Desert Online, like a Maple Story or something like that, where it comes out before in another country. And I think it's a really cool thing. I wish they would have done that more so. Excuse me, for Lost Ark. They said they're gonna catch up this year. I just recently they said that.
Yeah, I heard them
would
say that.
I wish it would have been faster. But I'm glad that this. But to talk about, sorry, I know I got sidetracked. I do that a lot, just so I'm aware. I think the world, and like I said before, I think the world feels small right now to me, because it gives they went from having this like you created this world in your mind where you go from the rogue encampment in Act 1 of D2 to oh gosh, what was it called in Act 2? The city in Act 2, sorry. And you had this transition where you see the map and you see this flow of where you would go and how far away it is. And then you kind of think in your head, like, how is that in relation to me personally living in the United States? How far would that be if I was looking at a map? That'd be like, oh, like 1,000 miles. That's crazy. That's a long journey. That's months of walking there. Now, to me, the world is shrunk because it's mapped out. It's given to you in that, hey, this is the ravine that goes from Kyovashad to this next place. You know what I mean? And you're always going to have that. And that kind of made it small. It's not a terrible thing, so to speak, but you know, I wish that we would have had like 5 or 6 open world areas to let me fill in the blanks between the ice biome and the desert biome and the, you know, like that's for me, you know, like that's me creating a world in my head.
Yeah, because I've got the map up here. I've got the interactive map, and you got like Kyovashad, if I said that right.
Here, will you link that to me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give me 2 seconds. Where are we at? Okay. There you go. So yeah, sorry to bring this one back up. So yeah, you've got this area here, right? You got Kyovashad, and then if you were to run down to the I don't know if this is called Margrave. Is that what it's called? Margrave? You run down here. You saw it. I was gonna Reason saw something. I was gonna make a funny layer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that me in maid outfit?
Hold on. Right, so I got this. You saw it. Hold on, you ready? Boom.
You're good.
Oh, leaked. Okay. Yeah. So you know it's good.
Yeah.
You know it's good. So
We still have that as we've got an uwu button in
yeah.
for sorry. Yeah, we've got hold on, let me bring it up. Show it again on your stream real quick, sorry.
Oh, I actually closed it. I had it up.
Oh,
but I've actually closed it off now. Just close it down. It's Bentley's wallpaper. Right, so yeah, so what I was gonna say is your point is here. Like, you've got the main town, and then if you were to like run down to another town, it doesn't take very long. And if you have a mount, it won't take very long to get down to that next town. Of course, you could waypoint there, but if you're just running, you're kind of saying that like this feels small because it's a small distance that you get there. Like, it takes you like a minute, if that, to like run down.
Like, if you're going from Corvalar to let's say the Desolate Highland, you're just gonna teleport obviously to Kyoto.
Yeah.
And then walk to Desolate. Or just teleport to Desolate because waypoints, great. But the world in itself, like going from Kyovashad to Corvalar is not like a long journey. It's like a minute and a half on foot. In probably on a mount, it'll be maybe a minute. You know, and that to me, like, this is Corvalar is so far away in my head of where it would be. Kyovashad, it would be like 10 miles to me. There would be so much in between, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just right here and right here.
Yeah.
Because in the real world, a city, you know, like I friends, I live in Reno in Nevada. Just so you're aware of where I'm talking about. Reno and Carson City are 10 miles away. Reno's just 10 miles north of the capital of Nevada. And then there's a 6-hour gap between Carson City and Las Vegas. So, like, to me, these places are a lot further away. And so when I had the map and I would be able to see the travel of that, it would be like, for me, going from Reno to Las Vegas in my head. And so that's why I say it feels, because it exists and it's quantifiable from the. So that's something that it's not a big deal, obviously, from a gamer's perspective, but it bugs me to a certain extent.
Do you what are you trying to say then? You would prefer to see the map bigger or just more open?
I would prefer to have this separated by a loading zone. Like,
you would?
the immersion
Okay.
that I'm traveling. Like, the loading zones to me they're not that big of a deal, but the immersion of being in this world and traveling from Act 1 to Act 2, or from traveling from Kyovashad to what is this called? Kyrgyzstan? This is supposed to be vast distances, right? This island or this peninsula that we're on is a small part of a massive Diablo world. They do use hidden, but that's the thing. It's like wanting to be able to experience how vast this world could be. Anyways, that's just my little nitpicky shit. Don't listen to me. Don't worry.
No, I was gonna say, because I quite like the open world. I like running. I like the fact there was no loading screens. There was kind of hitting ones because it was like laggy, right? Yeah, there was a lot of time when I ran out of this town, Kyrgyzstan. I'd run out of the town. I'd get to the bridge here, and it would be about here where it goes from like zone to zone, I guess. And I'd like rubber band, and it wouldn't like let me out, and then it let me out. Like, it was that. So I kind of felt like there was a loading screen without actually having a loading screen. It just felt laggy and stuff. And that
hybridity brought up the most important. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the best way to put it. Like how Lost Ark sailing is. Because you have this massive zoom out of the map. You're still existing in the world. You're still moving around the same way you would in the normal realm, but you're zooming out and traveling a great distance on a map, right? In a boat. That's cool to me. Obviously, it's a little harder with something like this, but I think they had to make a choice, and with everything being landlocked and together, they're like, we can't have like a boat or a caravan or something like that. If we're going to go open world, we just got to have it open. So I think they did a good job for what it is, but to me, it ruins that little bit of immersion.
Okay.
That little bit of immersion isn't going to stop me from absolutely slaying demons for the next 6 years of my life. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it is going to be in the back. So
Okay. We'll see. Well, maybe we could touch on this in a later podcast once the game's out and you've had a chance to run around the whole world and see if you still feel like it's small, especially since you've been on a mount. Okay.
So we'll just talk about what we're going to talk about. Dungeon diversity.
Yeah, we can
let's talk about dungeons.
Yeah, talk about some dungeons. So with the dungeon, I think there's a big consensus when it comes to the dungeons with that it's very much like you start the dungeon, you run up somewhere until you hit a door, and then the door's like, go find a key or go and kill two, like, was it watchmen or watchers? You had to kill both of those, come back to the door to unlock it, go forward. You had like a pre-boss area and then fight the boss. And it was just like dungeons were like slight variations of this, maybe slightly different pathing, or go and kill like 3 bone piles and then that unlocked the boss. And it didn't seem too diverse. And a lot of players were complaining about this because the backtracking, oh, bro, the backtracking, especially I tell you what, the worst ones were the ones where you had to kill all the enemies, like all of them, in an area to unlock it. And they would at least show up on the mini map as like a little red dot. But it completely killed my momentum when I was running through a dungeon. And I would leave a mob here, leave a mob there, leave a mob there, and then get to a door. And then I would realize it would say at the side, maybe it's my fault for not looking quick enough. Realize on the side it would be like, kill all the enemies. It's like 11 left. And I was like, dead, bro. Like, I had to go back, find one here, one there, and I was like, bro, fuck off. Like, it really, I was just like, come on. If it was like, I think they should change it, right? If they're gonna do that, maybe have it like kill 80% of the enemies.
Yeah, or
right. So you can skip a few, but kill everything, man. The backtracking makes dungeons feel horrible because you can't just flow through. So
two of the 3 of the points don't have to kill all 3 of the skeleton piles, because like taking out 66% of the monsters in a dungeon, some other asshole adventurers could come in here and clean it up, right? That's you don't have to kill everything, please. Just let me go. I agree with that was in Diablo 3, when you're doing greater rifts, you're not killing everything in the greater rift, complete it. And that's the thing with this game. You're forced to do these weird simple stipulations, and I'm not a big fan.
So I'm gonna play a video back through
Diablo.
the video.
No, go for it. Repetition is Diablo. That is the point of Diablo. But streamlined repetition is Diablo. Not just like, obviously Bale runs were the meta 20 years ago. Are we still doing that today? No, not a lot of us are playing Resurrected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so going forward in the future, there's always a way to make it feel just a little bit. Well, okay, you are, Nate, but not every. Sorry, but still doing Bale run. But like D3, like there's a way to evolve the gameplay. Into D4, you could evolve the gameplay. And I think I agree with streamlining that a little bit more so than it's been. These they seem like basic dungeon rules because they're still finding the niche that they want to fill.
Yeah.
In the ARPG genre.
Like
go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember seeing something, I think it was yesterday, that was like, these are just like Act 1 dungeons and some more diversity. These are the developers, like there'll be some more diversity once you reach like the other dungeons going on, because it is like a big community concern at the minute that people are going to get bored of run round and then hit a wall with the door and then go find this key, go left, clear all that, run back, go right, clear all that, run back, and then go through the door. I think maybe if they had like a teleport to the door, so you could run left, teleport back to the door in the middle of the map, run right, teleport back to the door, that would speed things up. You could do that.
I could see that. I would like to see more groups splitting up, just for speed of completion.
So in co-op play.
Yeah.
Because like this dungeon I've got playing at the minute, this is one of those ones where it's basically like a circle, And then there is like on the left hand side at the top, and then at the bottom right, there was small little tracks that went off, and then you had to kill the bone pile. But remember when I did this before, I ran all the way around and I just basically went in like the circle, right? And I didn't go down the little side ones, because I just followed the circle round. I killed everything. Then I realized I had to run all the way to the top, run up, and then kill the bone pile, then run back, then run all the way to the left hand side and run out and kill that and come back, man. And I was just like, when I was doing it, I was just like, oh, come on, teleport, come off cooldown faster. Like, it was really annoying.
There's actually one thing I wanted to touch on as well, and more in the thematic and storyline sense of these dungeons that frustrated me. These dungeons are not like, they're not in the realm of the Kjolvashad, right? Like, you have the dungeons, some of them are like this ice dungeon, and then some of them you're going into like the pits of hell, it looks like, in a dungeon. And you're like, that's right down the street from Kjolvashad? Like, that was just like chilling here the whole time? Really? Yeah. And nobody was here? Nobody came here to try? Or everybody that came around died? Like, that kind of thing to me. Like, I'm like, that just wouldn't.
So you would like to see more of like consistent theme.
Yes, consistent themed dungeons. Like, if there's an ice dungeon, cool, that's totally fine. But if there's a glen that is like ice based, like a frosted over area, the trees are completely frost blasted, like, that is a different dungeon, quote unquote. Obviously you're not going into something, you're going like into a side area, like what they did in the storyline. They had like the illusion area, like, that is cool. I liked that, where we're going through this wooded area, the swamp.
Is this with the dog at the end?
This is when you had where with the girl, the portal. You're going, yeah, you summon the portal.
Right, yeah.
And the dog, yes, the dog. Sorry,
so the dog's at the end, he summons a portal and you go into that different area. Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, that kind of storyline and world building is really cool. But just like going down the street and like the dungeons in Kjolvashad that are just like, hey, we're going into the cellar, and it's a cellar. It's not like a 20-room cellar. It's like, this is one room, this is where this kid is, then exercise the demon. Do that. That's great. I love that. That was a great dungeon.
Bro, those quests, I love that. I was really invested. Just to jump in here while you're saying that, because it took me by surprise when I did that. So if you guys did it or not, in Kjolvashad there's a side quest where there's a sister, right? There's a sister, I can't remember her name, and it's basically like, go into the basement of one of the people's houses, because they had like their boy who was like possessed and needed cleansing, and the sister's coming down there to cleanse. That was so immersive for me, because I'm in the town and it's like, this is the person's problem, and you go in, but it was a chain quest. You then went and did like another thing. I don't want to put out too many potential spoilers in case people haven't done it yet. But then you followed that on for another one, and then you followed it on for another one. And I was like, this is so cool. I really got invested in that specific quest line. I really loved it.
It was great for world building too, because you have this experience that, one, everybody's going to have to a certain extent if you choose to do the side content, but you're taking an extra step to do something that some people won't do. And I think that was really cool. And you had a tie to a character that asked you for help, and then you ended up having do more, obviously, like you said, and you get more tied to this, like, this random side character. Is this person going to be the storyline? Probably not. But this is the world around you. And with Diablo 3, like, how much world building did you have in that experience? You know what I mean? Like, I played a lot of Diablo 3, probably 1,000+ hours over the course of my tenure in the game. Obviously 1,000+ hours over 10 years is not a long time, but I had my fair share. And you don't like, you just go out there and do the same thing if you're playing through the storyline. I really do like the side quest content. So when you go to the little town, there's like an offshoot town with kind of druidic people that live there, or druidic barbarian style people, and you go fight more Khazra, and you have to take the head of the main Khazra. You're bringing the towns back, like doing the what were they called? Not Sentinel. the quest where you clear out all the monsters in an area, and then that becomes like a hub town, like that
Stronghold.
shit.
Stronghold.
Stronghold. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool that you're shaping the world as you go through.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, the strongholds were an interesting addition. I do like that. Going for a big agree, yeah, because when you kill it and it goes like, and then there's like the people are there and it's all of a sudden like a base and an encampment, and it was really cool. I really like the idea of putting the strongholds in, and you can like shape the world. Here we go with this barbarian clip coming through again.
Dude,
you ready for the one shot?
We're here.
And
he gone.
Barbarians are strong, boys. Just have to build them.
One thing that I will also, I don't know if you have that. I have. We'll bring it up real quick while we're talking about that barbarian. I was gonna say how dope he looked. That dude looked awesome.
Barbarian.
Like, awesome. Yeah, the guy looked great. We were talking about the looks of characters, the difference between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4.
Oh.
And I brought that picture you sent me.
Yeah, let me bring this one up. There we go. This is cool. So this guys, this is a picture. So obviously this on the right here is Diablo 3 sorceress, and a sorceress from Diablo 4. So you can see like side by side. How cool is this? You see side by side the differences between them, because look, it's like someone's gone and got basically it's similar kind of weapon, but also got like the skull focus and put it in. What a great upgrade, right?
Yeah.
That shit made me go, oh, what a fantastic upgrade. Because for me, like I hate cartoony games. I can't stand Fortnite. I don't particularly. We never really got into like WoW. Was it like WildStar and stuff back in the day? Like as soon as it's too cartoony, I don't like it. And Diablo 3 was like borderline for me. But this, I mean, look, there's even a bit of underboober going on here, man. Like,
yeah, there's a
bit of
whole ass underboob.
Yeah.
Is this a Korean game? What are we doing? Guys, calm down with the boobs. All right, no booba in my Western game. I'm just fucking joking. Just no swimsuits, please, for the love of God.
Oh, swims! Oh, bro. We'll see what happens with these battle passes, eh?
Sidetrack real quick. Sidebar. I saw something on Twitter. It was like a joke that the Apex team for Apex Legends put out. They put out, if this tweet gets 10K likes, we'll put in swimsuits, and it got like 100,000 likes in like 10 minutes.
Fucking hell!
And I was just like, guys, not everything has to be boner inducing. Not everything, like we could just, like live in a dark world where terrible things happen and we have a storyline, and like we don't have to have, not everything has to be sexualized. You know what I mean? I get that. Whatever. This is so minimal in the realm of Diablo. Sure. This game's got, succubuses and stuff like that. Somebody's gonna wear a shawl as a shirt. Whatever. But as long as like we're not riding motorcycles into or at a Kyovashad, I'll be fine.
Yeah. in a bikini with like a squid sword. Or like a big thing of corn, a sausage sword, a big sausage. Flail that around.
Corn dog has a sword now?
Corn dog, man.
Yeah, that shit in Lost Ark always just blows my mind. I get the Makoko outfits like as the joke, but there's so many more joke outfits than that. Like where where your paladin has a swordfish as a sword. Like, what are we doing, guys? What happened to us? we stray further from God's light with these fucking skins. Anyways,
but like, how good is the graphics though?
Oh, it's beautiful
because the graphics are so good,
and for it to run as well as it does is extremely, extremely awesome to see.
Yeah,
because when you're taking a step back, you're in an ARPG, you're in an isometric view. Oh, by the way, what was it called? Gosh, the viewpoints where like you went over to Cor Valar and then you pressed on the thing on the ground and then it goes into like that back cinematic view and you're looking up at the castle. I was just like, that shit is dope. Like that's immersion right there. That was wonderful. I loved it. So I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I think the graphics look primo, super.
There you go. Sorry, I just sorting out my bot.
No, you're good.
I've just turned my bot on and off. I didn't have my bot spamming chat like I normally do. I turned it off, and Immortal won't see about the giveaway. So the graphics of this game are amazing. Like, put the memory leak aside for the minute because they should hopefully sort that one out. Just if you miss it at the start of the stream, basically turn your, if you're getting memory leaks, especially if, like tomorrow and stuff, turn your res from high down to medium, and that's one of the main factors that stops like the big memory leak that's there. But I thought it was just stunning. As soon as I got into the world, I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. And the fact that they put your character into the cutscenes, right?
Thank God, dude. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Bro. Oh, the immersion. That was
really
so
cool.
lush. God. I made this, the sorceress that I made, the sorcerer. I picked like the last option for the eyes. They were like glowing. So there was a couple of cutscenes where it was like really dark, and my eyes were just like bing, you know, like through the shadows.
Found my character.
It was honestly, like, it was really cool.
Got him over there in the corner. I like that. That's really cool.
Pans and around, it's like, pitch black, and these two eyes just like beep.
Sup? I'm also. I love that. You know, like with Lost Ark, again, it brings it back to that I'm just a god walking through this world, experiencing the world around me, like where they're trying to bring you more into the fold, because Diablo 3, again, you didn't have that. You just were some savage that just every demon's ass that you came across. Like I'm currently playing Monster Hunter World, and you're getting that same sort of vibe. You like Monster Hunter. I played Monster Hunter. I've always loved this series, and it's not about that. It's never been about the storyline. But it's one of those things that, having a good storyline feels great to experience it and identify and like connect with your character. I think Diablo.
Yeah, having a good storyline to be able to push through is great. Yeah, it feels really nice. And as I said, did you said like you were rushing it straight away? So have you seen like all the cutscenes, everything?
Oh yeah,
you have.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
No,
So
cool.
I took the time with the rogue to really go through and watch the cutscenes and stuff. By the way, rogues look so dope all the time.
Oh yeah,
doesn't matter what they're wearing. It's like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the rogues, man. I thought they did look great.
So what?
I was gonna say as well, chat. What did you guys think of the graphics? Then were you sold? Were you guys sold with it? Because I thought, honestly, as soon as loading in, like eyes and stuff aside, it looked really good. Going through, like killing a couple of wolves, you had all the snow coming down, and then when you got through that, and like the blizzard kind of like cleared, and you could see a bit more of the screen, then it looked really good. So yeah, it looked good. I think it looked good. Just a little no, like, oh man, like I thought it was fantastic. 11 years of improvements, but it doesn't need to be. But the thing is, like, compared to like Path of Exile and stuff, and I haven't played Last Epoch, but I've seen some footage and stuff of it. This just looks way better, like leaps and bounds better, right? Yeah, it's the newest, so it has the potential to be the one that looks the best, but it does. Yeah. It just outright does.
And we're getting into that realm where I feel like we're about to hit like a good plateau where computers and graphics are kind of getting to the point where you're not going to have to buy like a super graphics card next year, you know, to be able to just enjoy these new games that are coming out. But we'll see. I could be extremely wrong with that. But like growing up playing on PS2 era video games, playing on N64, playing on SNES, like seeing the progression of how far we've come, like this shit is crazy for graphics. And I don't see how they're gonna push it further than this without some sort of otherwise streamlining more stuff.
Yeah.
So I somebody brought up, you said group content, did you, back there? And that was something that I really did want to talk about.
Yeah, okay, let's touch on group content then.
Yeah, so I've played a lot of ARPG. We're gonna again go back to talking about Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Lost. right?
Okay.
You have 3 different games. Diablo 2, you pretty much the entire time don't really want to party up with people because Magic Find is just based on your character, and other people can loot your stuff, right? So if you have more Magic Find and then your group doesn't have enough, and then you're playing solo is more beneficial, or at least it was until recently.
Mhm.
Diablo 3, same thing. If you had a ton of Magic Find in the beginning and you grouped up with your friend who had no Magic Find, and equalized. So playing solo was almost incentivized for finding more magic and rare and legendary items, which legendary sucked at the beginning of the game anyway, until Diablo 3's expansion. Diablo 4, we have a chance to bring back group content in a big way in ARP. How do you feel so far? I don't know how much you played with the group, but to me, I like it. I like the way that groups can clear dungeons.
So for me, it's with these kind of games, it's kind of twofold. What I really like and I really don't. Some of the things that I don't like is if I want to stop for a second and check out an item or check out this. If I'm in a dungeon, people in my group, say I'm with 3 other people, people in my group just carry on and just start clearing the dungeon. Then by the time I've stopped and I've done what I wanted to do, looking in my inventory or sorting this, whatever, then I haven't got anything to fight because they've already cleared it. So I'm just like running through, picking up gold on the floor, and it kind of is, for me, is a bit like meh. So if I'm with the group doing the fight, it's amazing and I love it. But if I stop and they just carry on, then I personally am a bit like, oh man, nah. I want to be there doing the fight. So it makes me feel like I don't want to stop. Now the dungeons aren't mega huge from what we experience at the moment, so you don't really need to stop too much. But if your storage is full and your bag's kind of full and you're still kind of unsure what you want to go, like what you want to keep, what you want to not, and it's like 10 items on the floor still, you're a bit like, you know. So I get this thing where I just want to carry on, but I want to loot this and check this. So that's kind of one thing. But when going to like the good things, when you're with people and you're playing with it, it feels amazing. And the monsters get tougher, so sometimes the builds don't work as well. Because if you've got like an AoE one shot to clear the trash, but you jump into it by yourself and you do your combo and it doesn't one shot because the enemies are tougher and your guys are a little bit like in behind, or the spells are on cooldown or whatever, and then they don't aid. I did have an experience where I jumped in and went bam bam bam, like did all my nuke stuff, and then the enemies were in like half life, and all the like when they die they explode to set off the chain reaction with like the fireball enchantment from sorcerers. That didn't happen and I felt weak. I was a bit like, but then that's the group play. So I was like, okay, maybe I would build slightly different. So what I said, what I was talking about this on stream as well, is like, if I'm going to be going in a group, I would swap from like an AoE one-shot build to a more like sustained damage build. So I would use Hydras, for example, with a Fire Sword. I would go like a Hydra thing. So I would actively change my build a little bit, depending on how, I don't know how it scales into late game. Maybe if you just play with one other person and they're not too much stronger, you can still do it. But maybe if you're with a full group. But then there's also the other thing that you get more experience when you're in a group. So that's a big incentive. Yeah, it's like 5%, but 5% over the entire course of a campaign, for example, could be quite a bit.
A difference of an hour.
Yeah.
Difference of a couple hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And going to max level. But you brought up experience being boosted. One quick sidebar. Elixirs are awesome. I think that's a great addition to Diablo. I think that it's not like super necessary, and you don't have to sit there and be like, okay, well, I have to have this elixir to go do this dungeon, but it's an extra experience boost and a little more defense. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful content.
The Fawns one, by the way, just a sidebar, right? The Fawns one, early game on a barbarian was fucking hilarious, because that potion by itself gave me enough Fawns. I just run into a group of bats and they'll kill themselves. Even though I spec'd into a bit of Fawns, I didn't have to do anything, just the elixir by itself. And they don't take a lot to craft. Like, you go out, and as you're running along from the city to the next city, there's like there's a few like things you can pick up, a few herbs and a few things you pick up, but it's very quick. It's just kind of click, bam, it's there. It's not you have to stand there and a bar fills up while you're foraging, you know, like, it's just like click, there's the item, click, there's the item, and then you don't need a lot of it to be able to retrieve. So that was cool. So the elixirs don't cost a lot, and you basically want to be running them 24/7.
Yeah, and it feels quick to craft, quick to pick up. It's just a simple extra thing to differentiate yourself and make yourself just a little bit stronger. And I like that. Taking time to to create something quickly and easily that adds player strength is cool.
Especially on hardcore.
Yep.
Because you get resistances with them. You can either have like armor and thorns, or you can have specific resistances. So if you're gonna fight Ashava, was it Ashava the Pestilent, the world boss that was in the beta. Especially if I'm on hardcore, if I make a hardcore character like tomorrow or Saturday or whatever this beta weekend. Like if I'm gonna go fight him, I'm gonna make sure I craft like a poison resistance one. Like hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I might even re-roll some of my gear to take off an affix and put on poison, see if I can get poison resistance and like build it up. So
you had someone Kona Blue asked in chat what is max level? It's 100. Also they have paragon level in D4. So
but it's slightly different. Go on.
Yes. So my opinion on group content so far is that it feels super good in comparison to like the Diablos of yore. Like I love this the way it's set up right now. It's almost like that middle ground between like a Diablo and a Lost Ark, because group content in Lost Ark, doing bosses, doing what is it? What were they called? not a
strongholds, the dungeons, cellars.
Why does my mind always do this? Where you fight Albion. What was that called? That dungeon. Oh my! It was a weekly that you did. I completely forgot.
Gone from my head.
Either way,
I don't know.
Yeah. You had your normal Guardian raids where you're doing a boss a day. Abyssal raids. That's what.
Right. Sorry. Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. So, yes, Abyss raids Abyss dungeons were like awesome because it was a weekly dungeon. Everybody did it together. It wasn't that hard, obviously, but it was something that was cool. And then Diablo can have that so far with the world boss and the dungeons. It feels like it's almost there, and I want more dungeons to feel like Lost Ark Abyss dungeons, but consistently able to do. I want them to feel like WoW dungeons, where I'm saying, "Hey, we're gonna go farm this dungeon real quick. Are you guys ready for this? Let's grab some elixirs for this particular defense. It's a fire dungeon. Let's do this, and let's make ice builds and set up for this." That prep work is more than any other AIM RPG is going to have for you, other than obviously the immense amount of prep work that Lost Ark. Yeah, and I like it so far. I like the group content. I like the idea so far of what group content can be in this game.
I love the idea.
See how it is going forward.
Yeah, exactly. I love the idea that this game has taken like influences from like MMO. Like you're in a town, you can inspect people. Like how cool is that? I've had hours of fun and content in Lost Ark of staying in town and like inspecting people, or you know, you're making a group and you expect people, and then you like either shit all over their build if they got grudge one, cursed one.
Ben's the cool guy at high school and he's judging everybody like a cyber bully. Jesus Christ, Ben. Like,
I mean, I'm really nice. I mean, but yeah, no, it's cool. I like the idea that you can do that and you can inspect people and you can check out their builds. You could do that. Maybe you could even like group up with people and stuff for that. But yeah, the group play seems good. I would love to see though, DJ, more than anything with this, I would love to see like actual raids. Not as hardcore. Yes, not as hardcore as Lost Ark, and what I mean by that is like
as hardcore as Lost Ark.
You want to? Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say like, you know, one person fails one mechanic and the whole group wipes. Like you can't have that because of hardcore. Can you imagine?
Okay? I came from the pits of hell. I know what it's like to fight the worst of the worst when it comes to raids, right? Like I've fought difficult stuff. I want that. I want to experience that. Obviously, hardcore takes that away. But if you have like a weekly where you're like, we're gonna go into this raid, we're gonna do this raid, like similar to like an Argos or something like that, and get a bunch of legendaries. That sounds awesome because it's accessible in this game. Whereas in Lost Ark, you had to sit there and you had to make your primo character and then 5 other characters to continue to feed into that one character. I don't want that. But the raids in itself were fun. doing Belshazzar once a week was fun. Doing it 6 times a week is an absolute fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's it, because this
the
isn't.
other thing.
This can be a roster game, but it's not a roster to feed into one character or to do that.
Yes.
You make a roster because you want to experience a new class and have some fun with it, and that's the kind of more casual, friendly aspect of it, keeping up, which is quite nice. Like I'm not going to feel pressured as a content creator that I cannot make YouTube content because I have to jump on Lost Ark to do all my dailies to keep relevant because I'm not swiping, because that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of mental pressure and stuff to be able to be like, every day I have to do a bunch of chaos. I have to do all my raids every single week, and that all being like lifted off my shoulders when I kind of stopped playing Lost Ark was great. It was really refreshing. And then jumping into this, I mean, I think we might still have some form of dailies in the Tree of Whispers. I don't know. Do you know much about the Tree of Whispers?
No.
So, so as far as I'm aware, the Tree of Whispers, you have these whispers, which are like little quests or areas that might be like highlighted on the map, and you might have to do like a task here, a task there, and you get these whispers, or like a bar or something fills up, right? You get something like this, and this is like happens like daily. So you can like get your whispers, go to the Tree of Whispers, and hand that in for like stuff to get like nightmare sigils for like the end game for like the nightmare dungeons. So they're and I think you can do that once a day, but I can't confirm all of this. I don't have the proper information, but word on the grapevine is that's kind of how the Tree of Whispers work. So go to an area, do stuff, and grab it. But that's like it. That's like it. You can just do that on one character. Like, you don't have to go from character to character to character doing like loads of this and like do Chaos Engine twice. Like, fucking Jesus, they should have got rid of that bullshit long time ago, man. That you just do Chaos Engine once, Guardian Raid once.
I could talk about Lost Ark's failings until I'm hoarse. You know, there's so many issues that the game has that could have been fixed for everybody, because god damn it, we don't need this much homework, but whatever. Anyways,
anyway.
The fact that it's called homework, like, that just dictates like how shitty it is to do that every day.
Talk about shitty. Have you ever seen what Nico used to call it? Toilet cleaning. he used to call it, if you, it's another streamer, a content creator called Nico Tulo. He was like doing a toilet cleaning stream. Like, no word of a joke. I used to see it in his titles all the time. That's what it was like with Lost Ark. So I'm looking forward to having all that pressure off and having a more casual, friendly game, because I can jump on, stream. What's up?
Nico, a fantastic PvPer, decided that he couldn't do it anymore because of how much PvE content you had to do in Lost Ark. That makes me sad. It makes me sad that we lost a talented player because of something so trivial. You know,
like
what I mean?
Toilet cleaning.
Like toilet cleaning.
Like toilet cleaning.
This guy had to become a plumber to get through Lost Ark. Shit, man. Like, it's just one of those.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. Does Ben? We lost Ben to PvE. Yeah. I enjoyed PvE. I hope. I really hope reason that like PvP is good in Diablo. I really hope it is.
So too. I hope it is good, but I don't have too high of hopes for it. And if it's bad, I'm gonna just still play the PvE content and do the content creation and do the thing. But like, Lost Ark PvP was such a special thing for me, because it's like the first time I really truly, in a long time, it felt like I'm home with a PvP type of game. Like, I grew up on fighting games, so like I come from what Lost Ark PvP was based on. Right. You know, it's like based on like a Street Fighter, where if you're getting comboed, there's nothing you're going to do. So I didn't have a problem with it, you know. Anyways,
outplay, you get the combos.
Again, I could talk about Lost Ark all day.
All day, man.
All day. But we're talking about Diablo. Anyway,
back to Diablo, man.
So we were talking about raids, potential of raids. I would like to see that as well. I'd love to see raids.
Yeah.
I'd love to see consistent group content. And I know you, like, again, bring it back to Diablo Immortal. In Diablo Immortal, there are weekly boss fights, there are weekly raids to a certain extent. It's not like their dungeons are a little bit weird, where they're kind of boring.
Okay.
But again, They have like weird mechanics where bosses go invulnerable for like 20 seconds and do like a big attack, and it's like, who gives a shit? And like every boss does that. So they have like phases, but they're really bad phases.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to see phases. I'd like to see phased boss fights, but not the way Diablo more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like having more casual, friendly raids, but boss fights that aren't over in 5 seconds. You know, so you go in and then having like actual like maybe phases of it. Like Lost Ark has the gates. You do gate 1, gate 2. Maybe you go in to a dungeon and you see. I used to say this about Outriders, actually, funnily enough. But I used to preach the idea, hoping that the devs would see or something like that you would be able to like go into a dungeon. Say in Diablo, you go through and you do whatever you got to do to get to like boss room like number 1, or like the cave opens up into like a bigger room or whatever, and the boss comes in and say it's like, I don't know, say it's like a bit of a dragon or something that's in this like cave or whatever, and you like fight it and you like break something off it. Maybe you take off a couple scales, or maybe it's like armored or something, but you fight it in this first phase. You like damage it and you see like parts of it like coming off through the fight, and then it retreats deeper in. That's like phase, and then you carry on in the same dungeon. You don't quit and come out. You carry on. So you get like so you go deeper down. Maybe it gets darker and like more, I don't know, more kind of creepy. Whatever you go down, and then you have like the boss fight number 2, and again you can like break it down a bit more. The boss has like maybe some harder mechanics, and then you get right down to the thing. So this happens in Monster Hunter World, Reason saying. So I like the idea. I think that could be quite cool. And you've got like different mechanics that you can do, but not having things that like one person fails wipes the whole group. Clearly you can't have that kind of stuff because of hardcore, because if you have those kind of mechanics, you just kill everyone's hardcore character. So
what they're talking about in your chat is it's kind of like what you're saying, like multi-tiered boss fight where you're fighting the one consistent monster the whole time. Yes, that is in Monster Hunter, and it's been a staple of Monster Hunter series. When you're breaking off the scales, like obviously you can pick up loot from there, and then the monster will move to a different region. You can actually do enough DPS to stop them from moving to a different region, knock them down, or capture them. There's like a whole different different aspects of the boss fight that you can do depending on which fight it is.
okay.
And that is a really good thing that the game has. Now, speedrunners obviously will kill a boss in like 2.5 minutes, whereas like the casual player base, it takes like 15-20 minutes to fight this one dragon, this one, you know, serpent or whatever you're fighting. That's why I love Monster Hunter, is there's the player skill difference is ginormous. I love it.
Right.
Anyways, but back to Diablo, I would love to see that as well, where say we're fighting something out in the ocean and you're like, okay, cool, we're fighting this kraken based character, you kill a couple of its tentacles, and then it opens up a giant whirlpool that sucks you in, and then now you're inside this kraken still fighting similar things of the kraken. It's still the same boss fight, you're still doing the same thing, you know what I mean? Like that's a multi-tiered boss fight. There's a lot of different ideas that can go into these set piece fights, as I call them. Like you experience the boss in a like a storyline over the course of a fight, rather than just like, oh, we're gonna go in this room, we're gonna beat the shit out of this dude, he's gonna die, we're gonna go into the next room, beat the shit out of the next guy, and that's it. I like set pieces fights if they're done well. They're very hard to do well. Wild Hearts, a game I recently played, had a very big set piece fight at the very end of the game. You fight this gigantic dragon that is like a huge in size, but he stays in the air the whole time. And so you're like just dodging for like 20 minutes and you're just like, okay, this is kind of a fucking snoot. But like he'll go in phases where he creates it changes the landscape, so it's like all sakura trees, or he changes the landscape so it's like I forget, whatever. It's but yes, the set piece fight, if you do it well, it can be really cool. Sorry, I like to go on.
No, I mean that's it. I mean that's just one idea, but the idea is that we've got these fights because you've got the world bosses, right? You've got the world bosses, and we fought one, and we've seen people kill it with certain builds, especially like the build we had with Cannon. You can kill it in kind of like the quickest I've seen is about just over 4 minutes. There's probably some more speedier kills than that, but that's quite quick. right? And then what happened is people like Woody, for example, would go and like kill it and then teleport back to town and then come out again and like into a different instance and kill the boss again. Because the boss would be for 15 minutes. So the quicker you can kill in the beta, the quicker you can kill the world boss, kill it, go back to town, come back. Kill it, go back to town, come back. Like you keep resetting instances, and the boss could still be there. There was one of the ones where I think he reset and came back, and it was like, I might even be able to find it and show you guys.
Wudijo did it as well.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Wudijo. I just
Your chat brings up another good. Yes, there are total set piece fights where you're doing like Zora Magdaros in World, where it's a multi-tiered thing where you're going to different areas and then you're fighting on its back and then you're fighting the cores that are inside of it, and then another monster ends up coming onto its back and then you fight that monster and try and repel that monster. It's like a whole fucking thing. They're very fun to do them a couple times, and then they become this whole thing where you're fighting the time, and that's what I worry about with set piece fights.
Right. I've just found this video. It's called, there we go.
Nate, you bring up a good point. At what point do you get mad at people for trivializing the boss fight for others because you're just randomly joining people's sessions and some dude comes and wipes the boss in 5 seconds? I think that's a pretty clear thing as well that can become a worry because like people like me, I don't like doing Monster Hunter World. I made everybody that played with me put on low tier gear where I was at, because I'm like, if you come in and kill this boss fight, I will just leave and do it myself because I don't want to be carried. I want to enjoy this fight for what it is. That is a worry. And I think that boss fights, like world boss fights, it's going to get to that point where there's not much you could do about it. But like dungeons will have the chance because you get to choose who comes in with you.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, talking about this. You can't choose your own instance. There's no private, there's no offline, there's no just play with friends. Like the game is always online, and that is definitely one of the potential negatives when it comes to world bosses. Because if you've just got to a world boss, maybe you start the game 6 months after release, right? And you see your first world boss and you're like, oh, this is cool, I can't wait for this epic fight. And then like a high level dude with some really good gear or something just jumps in and goes bop bop, and it dies. Then you're like, oh, I got some loot, and you didn't even get to experience it. Then but you can block cross-platform players at least, right? Okay, so you could do that, but that still, it doesn't 100% solve the issue.
Right.
It could make it better, but maybe there's some kind of way that they could add in the future that you could privatize certain instances, or make like your world that you group up and then you're like, no, I don't want the always online, that always online kind of feel. But like here, I've got the video up playing at the moment. This is where like they kill the boss, and then they're like looking at the loot for an example for a minute, and then he teleports out and comes back in because they killed the boss quite quickly. So you can actually keep farming the boss within the same 15 minutes if you're quick enough. And he does it a couple times.
Huh. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, it's obviously an exploitable thing. Do I think it's like super negative for the health of the game? It's kind of up in the air, man, to be honest. Like it could be. Oh, he's playing on Adventure 1. Okay, that makes sense.
He changed it to try and because I've listened to this video. I actually saw it earlier today. So what he did there is he was like, oh, I wonder if I can reset it by changing world tier. And yes, look, he's back in. So he changed the world tier. And then after this, he goes, oh, maybe I can just teleport back to town and come back. And then that works as well. So it is exploitable. Now, when you kill it, on that, I think it's just once a day. You kill the boss, he obviously drops some loot, but then in your bag, you get like that cash, right? That you can open up and it drops like a load more. You only get that once a day. But
it's once a day?
That's an extra. Is it once a day? Is it once per spawn?
I'm not sure.
Maybe I might be wrong there.
We've only seen it on the 1 day thing, the 1 day cycle.
Yeah, like I only killed it once in the beta. I only had enough time to kill it once, and
this
like
actually
he's just gone through and back. There we go. He's loaded into another instance. Look, it's nearly dead. It's like free loot, man. He just teleports back, comes back out, and there's another group just like struggling to kill it.
Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow on Necro. Ooh, just
there you go.
Gonna do this like
exiting game, and then you come back in, see if you can do it again. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
it's
wild.
It's very like exploitable. And then there's another one, but there's only, if you see here, there's only 1 minute 53. It might be a bit small for you guys. 1 minute 50 seconds left. So he's like quit out because the boss is way too much health. He can't kill it. So he's gonna quit out, come back in, and see if he can find one that's nearly dead. I think it put him back into maybe the same one on this, but yeah, man, like that's definitely exploitable.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get rid of that for sure. But that's still, I would like it would change it. Okay, so remember in Lost Ark when we were doing the world boss runs where like everybody would try and get in the same instance because there's 50 people that could be in an instance.
Yeah.
And then it like locks out. If you didn't get into channel 1 or 2, chances are you didn't kill the boss in Punika originally when it came out, because it was all about how like how much item level you had if you could do damage to the boss. And there were like the whales were like paying, like people were paying for spots with whale groups.
Wow.
So that they could be there. Like, I don't want to see that, but that's going in the other direction, right? Where you have to be in the perfect group to kill the boss. And then you have the opposite of that, which is what we're running into here, where if you kill the boss, should you be locked out for the whole day? Are you not allowed to go help your friends anymore? Because you got to think of the general populace is not going to do that, because like the people that are going to do that are the people that are like the people that are ahead, the people that are trying to create content like Wodijo. Like, I didn't think about doing that. And why would you when you're trying to experience the world, right?
Yeah, for sure. But you raised a really, really good point. I didn't even think about it for a second. It is for like the casual friendly kind of side of this game, which is you kill it once and then 2 hours later it spawns, but your friends have now come online. They're like, oh, we're going to kill the world boss. And you're like, oh, no, so I can't do it with you guys. I've already killed it today. And then you're like, oh. But if you could just go back and kill it again, then great. So I think what they've done here is they've gone, yeah, you can kill it again, but you don't get the cash again. But you will still get some stuff because you've gone and you've put your time in and you fought it. And as a casual friendly game, you're going to get rewarded for that, right? But you don't get the cash with like another like 4 legendaries. So you can still get some stuff. And maybe that's where they've gone, okay, well, we'll do that as a balance. But it's still, man, yeah, you still get loot, you just don't get that cash.
There's a balance that they'll find. But I think that being able to like switch over and say you have your whole clan going over there, you only have 4 people in your group that are in your instance, and you're like, shit, guys, and they're like, dude, we're not able to clear within the 15 minutes. Can we get people to come over here and help? Like, that's what we did in Lost Ark, where you had certain boss fights that were still difficult at item level to do in a world boss situation, where the boss would heal for, you know, however many percent for however many people it hit, and you had to have everybody be knowledgeable and do enough DPS to kill the boss. Shit like that, it's hard to see a way that they are able to make it so it's clearable content for everybody without having you be able to transfer into a different setting and help other people clear. Yeah, I'd like to see them loot lock it. That'd be cool. No cash, no giga extra loot. You know, every time you do it in a day, it goes down. Like, so it's just not worth it to do anymore. Sure, that's totally fine. But like locking you out from never being able to do the content, that's gonna suck. When you want to help.
So I think you got to remember, as I say, this is going to be more casual friendly. In a hardcore game, then fine. But in a game like this, where you've got a lot of people that are just going to jump on for a bit, don't necessarily, you know, look up like streams or guides or things like that. They're just like, oh, like, buddy, who's not really much of a gamer, like, come round, have a controller, we're gonna have a beer, sit down and just like smash some buttons and kill some things in a dungeon. And he's like, oh cool, I'm just gonna be a fire mage and just put up some firewalls and it will kill things and they'll get through. Maybe they'll just do it on adventure 1 and they'll get through, they'll have a good time, they drink a beer, maybe eat some pizza and call it a night. And I think Diablo could have a very fun spot there for people doing things like that, like with the couch co-op and, you know, people having an Xbox, their next friend's got a PC, their next friend's got a PlayStation. They can do it cross-region and, cross-console and cross-region, which is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
The fact that you and I are gonna be able to play together again. It's been a while since we've seen each other in the game world.
Yeah, exactly. Since like Russia and Lost Ark, but
Yeah,
man, like, that kind of thing I'm really excited for. The fact that now I can go like, hey, like content creator, like DJ, like, do you want to do some stuff? Do you want to log in and do some things? We can actually. One of us might have a bit more ping, but it's Diablo. It's ping. Maybe in hardcore, it's gonna be like essential, but it's gonna be the thing.
At least we have the option.
Yeah,
and that's always.
I think
So,
great.
I mean, we're at about 2 hours. You got to go soon, I would imagine.
I'm okay for a minute. There is one more thing that I want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, I got time. Don't worry.
The Butcher.
The Butch.
I want to talk about the Butcher. Chat.
old Butch himself.
The old Butch, fresh meat. Chat, what did you think? What did you think about the Butcher? Right? Because it's basically like treasure goblins. They're a random encounter.
Treasure goblins?
Yeah, I found about 4, I think, over the weekend.
Okay.
Maybe 3. I didn't find too many.
3 days to find my first treasure goblin, and then I found 2.
Oh man.
And then it took me 3 days to fight my first butcher, and then I fought 4 in a day. So.
Oh man.
That's
Box nowhere near terrifying enough. It's almost like D2, the difficulty thing. So there were faster attacks, cooldown. Yeah, I mean, the thing like with the Butcher, it's like a dynamic event, right? You're going through a dungeon or maybe in the open world, and you're just like, you're killing things, and it can, after a while, imagine being like pretty hardcore, and you're fighting, that you're playing this game like 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day, nearly every day, and you're just going through, doing the same dungeons, and stuff like nightmare sigils and things, like nightmare dungeons when it comes out. I love the idea that you're going through, and then all of a sudden something like wakes you back up a bit. You're like, oh, the Butcher's here. Right, okay, I need to focus for a second, rather than just like jump in, clear the mobs, jump in, clear the mobs. So you've got these dynamic events, and like loot goblins do this, because loot goblins don't die like straight away. Maybe later on in the game, maybe, but from what I experienced, you had to hit them quite a bit, and they run away, and they put you in more danger potentially. Like you're like, I want to get this before he runs away and like teleports away. If we're assuming that he will disappear, right? So you're like, well, I'm just gonna teleport into all these mobs, then run past them while they're chasing me into another pack of mobs to try and find it, and it could re-wake you back up and reinvigorate you as you're playing, and you'd be like, oh, you got this, and I fucking love that. Bro, I love it. Running into the Butcher. Oh.
Yeah, making active choices while you're playing the game and not just autopiloting through is something that I'm always a big proponent of. I've talked about it with like Lost Ark and Diablo 3 in general. The fact that you have to make a choice on whether or not you're going to go after this monster or not, and then whether you're going to put yourself in danger, right? The Butcher, the feel of it was obviously, as a giga gamer such as myself, been playing video games for 30 years, like the fight of the Butcher, obviously as a dynamic event, was like, oh, okay, cool, he showed up, fought him. But if somebody's playing, like, again, Diablo for the first time, they're gonna go in and be like, what the fuck was that? Why did that just yell fresh meat? And then this dude comes around the corner because you got fog of war or whatever you want to call it in this game, and you're just like, what the absolute fuck is that? And then it has a health bar, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And then you run around and you're like, oh my god, that was a dynamic event. That was cool. That was something. I love that. I love that for every sort of like being able to do it the first time. I kited him around a room of like, well, it was like 4 different rooms, and they all had monsters in them. So I had to clear the trash before I could fight and just like focus on Butch, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to just get fucking pile driven by these monsters. I got to move around and make sure that I have room to fight him. So that was like a dynamic choice that I had to make, and that's I think it's wonderful. I think they should have a million events like that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, some good news on that though is that got brought up in an interview like literally a couple of days ago. I wish I had it so I could pull up, but it's somewhere. I do remember reading it. They basically spoke about things like the Butcher and about loot goblins and about the fact these are dynamic events, and they want to put more in because people were like, "This is fucking fun." It breaks up the autopilot. What you just saying breaks it up. The butcher was great. Like the first time I saw the butcher, because people in my chat kept saying, "Oh, I found the butcher. I found the butcher. Oh, I died to the butcher. Oh, I found the butcher." And I'm like, "I haven't found no butcher." And I was like, "Where is he?" And people were like, "Oh, he's in this dungeon." And I would go in there, and he's like, "He's not there." And I was like, "Oh." And then we realized it's like a chance encounter. You don't just go there and he's there. You're just running around, la 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 la. Boom, the butcher appears, fresh meat. He hooks you in. Bam, you like get stunned or something, lose half your life, and go, "Oh shit!" And they try and like space bar away, and then he just chases you really fast, and you see this health bar. You do like a load of attacks, burn your mana, and see his health bar do this. And you're like, "Oh no, he's strong." Oh man. And then you're like, "Oh, okay, I've actually got to focus here." And man, if you're on hardcore, it's like you see the butcher, you hear fresh meat, and you're like, "See you later," unless you got a build set up. Because if you said it took you a couple days before you actually even found him, were you at level 25 when you found him? Like with a build? Right, because if you find him before that and you don't have a build, he's hard. If you're on, I was playing on veteran, right, world tier 2. He's hard, right? Because he's, and everybody kept using the word overtuned. I don't think he's
really.
Yeah, I mean that was going around like crazy. I saw it in videos. I saw it in like comments. I saw it in loads of on Reddit and things. People being like, "Oh, the butcher's overtuned. The butcher's overtuned," and stuff. It was people that were like maybe level 15 and hadn't really got any kind of build or anything yet. The butcher shows up and he fucking murders you like really, really quickly. When I've got some footage actually. I'll try and bring that up while we're having a look here. Of me like absolutely demolishing the butcher, because you can get to the stage where the butcher basically, oh, I'm gonna have to jump out and back in again. It's bugged. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's go back here. I don't know why it does this. It's join the activity. I'll try and get this up. But you can get to the stage where when you've got a build, the butcher wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
The butcher wasn't okay. I've lost all the playlist stuff's gone, but I think I've got it up here somewhere. See if I can grab this. It's on my channel. Yeah, I really enjoyed the fact of the butcher. Let me go fire beats butcher. I'll bring this one up for you guys.
By the way, Diane Chat, yes, I did do I did the Core Dragon stuff too. Yeah.
Okay.
I did that. I've got it, so you're good.
You've got it? Yeah, I've just brought it up there. Let's put on this one here, and we will jump it up to full screen. It's on full screen here. So, like here, like I found the butcher just like completely randomly in a dungeon. I just ran through the next room. Like, here you go, fresh meat. You find the butcher. But because I'm level 25 and I've already got a build going, I was like, right, bring it on. And this is the like broken ass like cooldown reset. You'll see me like in a bit in this fight. I end up pressing S to bring up the enchantment menu and swapping my enchantment, because I had it on for like fireball for like mass AoE stuff. But I got some hydras attacking him. See, it's not like he dies instantly,
right?
You know,
and I love this. I love yeah. This is they did a great job with this for sure, for certain.
Yeah,
100%.
So like I had to ramp this up.
I'd like to see like 2 or 3 a day, in an 8-hour period.
Which butcher every dungeon.
My chat was talking about how it's seen 20 butchers, like a butcher dungeon.
Yeah, a butcher dungeon. Do you know what? I think like to just sidebar here slightly, right? Sorry, does the butcher only appear in dungeons now? When I played the closed he popped up all over time. No, it should be everywhere. From my knowledge, it should be everywhere. But this specific one was me in a dungeon. But yeah, to like kind of sidebar it, cow level, right? I want there to be some comedy in this. Yeah. Sorry, we'll get back to butcher in a second. But like what I really liked about like Diablo 2 is it's like really dark and dingy and all this. Yeah. And then they were just like, fuck it, cow level. Right? Moo. Just some comedy to throw in the game to like mix it up was amazing. Like the treasure goblins are like great because they're like fun and you go for them, it's like woohoo, and then it's got this sack on the back and they're just like fucking like little Santa's elf with loads of toys in the back. He's like chasing after it, right? Trying to get the toys. But like having some kind of like, oh, do you know what? We're not going to take this specific thing seriously. We're just going to be like, fuck it. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I don't mind that at all, and especially like Whimsyshire in D3, where it was obviously there was no cow level in D3, but Whimsyshire was hilarious. Like going through an entirely giant, bright, pastel colored world and just killing a bunch of like Care Bears and unicorns. Loved it. That was hilarious to me. Obviously, doing that like every day was like, because Whimsy Shire was really good to do in the beginning. Cow Level obviously really good to do in the beginning. The Lisa Frank dungeon, yeah. It's like, this is a good time, you know what I mean? Like, it breaks up the absolute dismal nature of Diablo, where everything's just awful all the time, and I like that. I like the aspect of that. I like the and especially as just like a person enjoying the game, you find out about Whimsy Shire, you find out about like Wirt's leg and stuff like that, and you're like, what do you mean there's a cow level and they just moo at you the whole time
and drop amazing stuff?
I want to go there. I want to see this. That was great. That was good.
It's amazing. But like, so I really hope they bring in some stuff like that. Let's just like, no fucks given, this is going to be funny, let's just do it in and put it in, because that could be great. But like, back to the butcher here, like if I fought the butcher here at like level 10 or level 15, I didn't really have a build up, man, he would smash me. But here I've got the kind of, as I say, like the busted build, which I swapped and put the frost summon. I can't remember what it's called now. Frost blade or whatever.
Ice blades, crystal
blades, something like it. Yeah. You summon those, and every time they hit with one of the talent trees you can get, it lowers the cooldown of your skills, your active skills. And I've also got a passive, which is when I use a skill with a cooldown. So here I've got what is it? Teleport. I've got the actual summon the blade, and I've got my fire shield, which makes me invincible, by the way, for 2 seconds, like completely invincible. You've got all of those. Every time one of these blades hits, it lowers the cooldown of your active ones here. Then when I've got an enchantment on, which is why I pressed here. When I pull down this enchantment into this slot here, mid-fight, while I've got the invincibility dome up, which is from a legendary aspect. I put that down, and then every like 20 seconds of cooldowns you do, it summons another one of these ice blades. So then you basically ramp up to the point where you'll summon an ice blade, it hits, you summon another one, it hits, and then you use your cooldowns, which automatically summons another one. And then the more you have hitting, the faster your cooldowns go down. Yeah. And then you summon more, and then more, and then your cooldowns.
You're pianoing on your button.
You are literally pianoing. So you'll see it like ramp up in a minute. And I would basically felt like I was immortal. So maybe this build is just...
you have the passive, which gives you 10% shield whenever you use a cooldown as well.
Yeah. So I was gaining...
Butch can't hit fast enough.
Yeah, but look at these cooldowns.
So for right now, Butch isn't a threat when you have a full... But possibly going into like Torment, you're literally going to be worried about this stuff even when you're playing on normal, not even like, let alone hardcore. So there's a lot of different aspects of difficulty that we haven't seen yet, right?
True.
And I think that's also pretty exciting going forward. One thing, by the way, Pre-Human, that was called Sanctuary. Act 4, like right before you fight Diablo in Diablo 2, was Sanctuary. It was the area that you go to. Yeah, when Upside Down, in chat, you guys see him as not right side up. He had 99% damage reduction. Dude just stood there and fought Butch. You know what I mean? But they're gonna have stats where they have armor reduction and armor pen for mobs. They have to, because mobs are obviously gonna be way too trivial if you have 99% damage reduction, no matter what you're doing. So that I think I'm really excited for the difficulty to ramp personally.
Yeah,
that's
I'm excited to see what it does. I mean, obviously we our resistances get lowered, right? As you go up, and then you got like uniques can drop. Like his unique, by the way, rumored. I didn't see it. I haven't seen anything, but apparently he can drop his unique weapon. Or has he got an axe or whatever it was?
I'm sure he can. I mean, they've always been able to give Butch the hook. I forget what it was called in D3, but
like in the
Butcher had Butcher's cleaver. In D2. Oh, in the beta?
In the beta, cool. Apparently some people, maybe someone in chat can clarify, but apparently some people were actually getting a unique weapon, so not legendary, but a unique one. Awesome. The butcher's weapon in beta. Yeah. I killed him 4 times, I didn't get anything. A bunch of people in chat and stuff killed him, didn't get anything. But yeah.
That sounds awesome. Do you know about my unique that I got? The
You
horse?
did mention it. Bring it up. Go on.
I got the horse. Let me hop on Twitter.
Yeah, let me see. I'll come back over here. I'll see if I can pull up as well. So you got a.
I got a I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a unique, but it was a rare drop from Core Dragon, where you finish the event and then you were able to I was able to get a horse. Let's see.
A horse, a skin, wasn't it? It was a horse skin, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where is it? On your Twitter.
I'll link it to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Shoot you a link. I'll shoot a link in your chat as well, so you can see it.
Perfect.
I know it's pretty dark, but Diablo's dark. Get used to it. Anyways, I got a ghost mount drop. Oh, they've got the butcher's cleaver. So okay, cool. The butcher's cleaver is this? What is it? Oh, 329 unique or item.
Wait, is that in your chat?
I'll link it to you as well. Yeah, perfect. Nori put it in my. Let me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a look at that. But this is you ended up getting this this horse. You couldn't ride it. Right?
Yeah,
it's like
I wasn't allowed to ride it.
It's like a spectral horse mount horse skin, which was awesome. So you got that. Did it what color was it like when it dropped? Can you remember? Was it like the orange of a legendary or that kind of like
it was white.
Down? It was white.
Which was weird because I saw it in my inventory and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I right clicked it and then it became that. And then I went over to the guy and it's a different color in the actual inventory. So I think there was a mistake because obviously I didn't hear anybody else getting it.
Oh, this is the first I've seen of it.
So this butcher's cleaver, unique axe, slashing. Let's see. It's got pretty good stats. Obviously, it's a lot of percentage stats. Damage to healthy enemies, which is over 85% or 80%. Damage to crowd control, crit strike damage, crit strike chance against injured enemies. It's below 35%, and then plus 15% damage to enemies that are injured as well. Again, below 35%. That thing kind of slap. When you critically strike an enemy, you have a up to 100% chance to fear and slow them by 70% for 4 seconds.
Wow, okay. So yeah, damage to healthy, damage to crowd control.
Oh, unlucky hit. Lol. Okay.
Yeah, it's unlucky hit.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
When you critically strike an enemy, so you have to get a lucky hit and a crit.
Yeah.
I have up to.
I mean, that's like a 2.5% chance of happening.
100% chance to fear and so that actually be kind of cool. Just going up and be like, bah, and then they turn around and run away because they're feared because you've hit them with his cleaver. PvP permafear? Oh my god.
Hopefully CC is a little reduced in PvP. We'll see.
We're hoping. Yeah, critical strike damage crowd control enemies. Man, that's crazy. I'm glad we've seen that though. But I'm excited for more. I don't man. Critically striking enemy have 100% chance to fear and slow them. Would I want that? Like, I'm trying to think of like, would I want that as like, is that like build defining? If I'm at end game, is the butcher's cleaver just a bit like kind of for fun, or is this the kind of thing that I want to be fearing and slowing everything with like super huge lucky hit chance and critical strikes?
I think in hardcore you would love this. I think that would be a build defining thing in hardcore for sure. Because, I mean, if you're gonna be a barbarian fighting against like 20 monsters at the same time in hardcore, and you run the risk of dying at the drop of a hat on torment, like this would be a primo item to take for a defensive.
Can fawns proc lucky hit? Did you see? Can you imagine if you just stood still in the middle of enemies and they just start running away in fear? They come up and go, bite, nope, and just turn around.
Just flexing the whole time.
Can you imagine?
Just constantly doing the point emote. I love that. Or doing the angry emote with the sorceress. They taunt emote. I love that. But yeah. So
kind of cool.
I think that this is pretty cool. I dig it.
I'm excited for more uniques. I can't wait to see them. There is some data mine stuff. Maybe we could go over that in in a future podcast or something down the line. But yeah,
there's some videos that I have that we're definitely not going to show on the air. That's damn sure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that out there that floats around. That's very much NDA.
Yeah.
Like and a lot you can go find it if you're looking for it yourself. Obviously, it's us, but that is stuff that exists in the world. You could see more of the end game content. And all the stuff that we've speculated on doesn't talk about any of that. So just so you guys are aware. Well,
to be honest, I haven't particularly seen anything anyway.
I haven't seen too much of it myself. I've seen like a couple pictures here and there. I've seen like couple pictures of like level 100 people in like different areas. But anything that I would spoil myself with, because I'm gonna enjoy the beta this weekend. And really just play some Necro. I really do want to play a lot of Necro because that was the class that I played in D2 that I enjoy the most.
And I'm
Paladin was fun. Yeah, Paladin was fun, but there's no Crusader, there's no Paladin. I'm okay.
That's a whole nother topic, bro. Do you want to go down another rabbit hole?
Right. We'll save that. We'll save that one because we'll do another one of these probably in a week or two. I don't know what.
We'll figure it out.
Looks like
we'll definitely figure it out.
If you play melee Necro, you're not a real Necro player. Is gonna get banned in my chat.
Ooh.
Wow. No,
ooh, bro. All right, chat. Both chats.
Yes.
Druid or Necro? Tomorrow. First character you're gonna play. Chats. Druid or Necro? Druid or Necro?
Hold on.
Necro.
Yeah, let me bring up my chat.
But 2 druids. Yeah, I've got the dual screen on now.
Dude.
I like the fact I can do this.
Okay.
Oh, we got a Sork. Oh, there's a lot of druids coming up. Oh, okay. I thought it was just going to be spam Necro. Jeez.
Pre-human got banned.
Thanks for the follows, by the way. Both sides. Like, thanks for follows. Thanks for support throughout all of this.
Absolutely.
For the podcast, obviously, we've like muted notifications and stuff. But honestly, really do appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Welcome. But yeah, so that surprised me. I thought that it was just going to be literally like a spam of Necro, because that's what seems to be what people want. But I don't know, maybe I got it wrong, man. I'm new here. You're my
honestly,
new dad.
I think.
Welcome.
God. I love Prehuman. I play Monster Hunter. I play Warlander. I play a lot of games with Prehuman. He's a fucking awesome human being. Hilarious person. He also streams as well. If anyone
amazing
wants, shout out to be appreciated. Love that guy.
Amazing.
So yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of druids running around because, like, again, you have this Giga Edgelord class in Necro, and back in the day when we were growing up, obviously that was cool. Like, it's like that was fun having the Hot Topic character embodied in a game. It was awesome. But nowadays we've all kind of grown up, and it's like, yeah, I don't really need to be that edgy all. Life's not that bad. It's kind of all right. So I get it. But at heart, I'm a Reaper main in Overwatch, so I have to be as edgy as possible.
As edgy as possible, man. I can't wait tomorrow to jump on, make my Necromancer, summon some skeletons, and just be like, "Go forth, my army."
Yeah. I'm gonna play melee. I'm not even gonna use skeletons at all.
I can't wait,
I'm gonna
man.
play. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be exciting.
I am. I'm super stoked for it.
I don't know if you're feeling like you want to wrap up and save your voice for tomorrow.
We could do that. Is there anything? Should we have a little thing of chat once? Cool. Chat. Does it chat? Have you guys got any questions or anything you want us to kind of like discuss or talk about before we kind of wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely.
See if you guys have got any questions about things or any topics. Might want to
skellies, dude.
No skellies.
You get so many buffs from not having the skeletons up and not having the golem up. You do so much damage, it feels like. How do you guys feel about seeing only 12 people at a time, only in world bosses, to being able to see everyone in a channel like Lost? I'll go first since I my feeling on that is I actually would like to see less. because it's Diablo, the world is supposed to be desolate. The world is supposed to be terrible, right? I want that thematic, like awful. Unless you're with a party of adventurers, you're not seeing many people, and they've got it with the people so far out in the world. And I talked to Ben about this as well. I brought it up that I would like to see less packs of monsters in the open world and more in the dungeons. I want dungeons to be dangerous, right? I want them to be like you could die at any point because it's Diablo, but less in the open world because like it is supposed to be like desolate, right? It is supposed to be like if you travel outside of like a like 500 feet outside of Kyovashad, chances are you're gonna get like dragged into a dungeon and murdered, right? Like
See,
that's my
yeah, this is it, because I've got like a different feel to it. Because Hybridity said, yeah, but a desolate atmosphere can get boring. No, so there was something that I actually experienced, and I felt at the time, and I thought about it afterwards. Was I came out of a town, and as I was going across Kiev, across the bridge, I was like rubber banding, and it was obviously like laggy, and it wasn't loading properly. And then I ran out of the town. The game, I didn't realize it at the time, but the game hadn't counted that I'd gone. The server was having some issues, whatever, at that point, and I ended up running down from town, and there was nothing around. There was no barrels, no like stones to overturn. There was no monsters. There was literally nothing. And I was running down, and I could run around the areas, but I couldn't, like, you know, when you press spacebar to jump across a cliff or duck under something. Yeah. None of that was active. So I knew something was wrong. And I basically ran all the way to like a dungeon entrance. Then the dungeon entrance wasn't glowing, so I couldn't go in. So I knew I had to like log out, come back in. But it felt to me like that was desolate because there was nothing. Literally, there was literally nothing. But that made the game to me feel unfinished. Rather than it being like, this is Diablo, there's not much going on, a desolate kind of area that you're kind of saying. Like, I literally was running down, and when I reflected back on it, I was like, it made me feel like the game wasn't ready, like it wasn't finished, like there was nothing there. I felt like I was playing an incomplete game. But obviously it was just a little ping spike, right? Or like a network issue for a minute. Then when I ran back down, there were mobs. See, I like there being mobs. I like running out of town. You run a couple of feet and you've got like a barrel to blow up, and then like a group of bats, and you go boom, and then you run along, and then there's some like bandits or something else. But I like that. Yeah. Mob density in dungeons, I would like to see a bit more of. And again, like grapevine rumors is that could be better like later on in the game. Remember, we only tried 25 up to in a beta. But yeah, I would like to see a few more because I loved like the chain explosions and things.
I realized something to more elaborate on. I would like to see mobs and like things moving. Like, I don't want to just walk into frame and see like a bunch of spirits standing there, and then they're like, they turn around when I show up, and they're like, "Hey, let's go beat that guy up." You know, I want to see them doing stuff. I want to see the movement of the world. You know, I don't want to see the things just standing. That's probably what it is to me. That kind of makes it feel a little bit weird.
Like, hey bro, what are you doing over there? Come over here. I'm gonna throw a spirit bomb at you.
Fuck that guy individually over there. We're gonna go beat that guy up now. It's like no. I want to see like there was a point where there was like some random adventurer dude that's fighting like 30 mobs, and you see him getting overwhelmed, and I was like, oh, I gotta help this guy. You know, I gotta stop what I'm doing and try and help this guy because me personally, I'm making an active choice to save a fucking NPC in the world because I'm like, you gonna be okay, dude? You need to leave now because it's dangerous out there. You know, like that kind of stuff makes me feel more immersed in the world. But like walking out and seeing a bunch of Khazars standing there, like it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, because you've got ultra wide, right?
Yes.
So you can see more than people who don't. So maybe the majority of people, you've got a bigger screen you can see. So you probably go out of town, and on the corner of your screen you can see like a group of like 10 bats just like stationary, just doing this. So that probably feels quite fake. But for me, who can't see that, when I appear on the screen, that's basically normally the aggro range. So I appear and then they come to me. So I think about that. I don't really experience that, just like seeing groups of enemies just like this, waiting for you to get closer. And then when you do, hey, you!
That asshole right there. He looked at me wrong. He's like, no, I'm just walking by. And he's like, nope, it's time, bro. So I didn't even actually think about that because I'm so used to having an ultra wide now. specifically the reason, guys, I bought an ultra wide was for Lost Ark PvP. There was an advantage because you could see more of the map and you could control space better in PvP. That's
But yeah, there are some
uh
advantages because, like, Hybrid is saying, like, how do you guys feel about the zoom levels? Is it too close? I think for me it's okay. I think for me it's okay. I like the fact that it zooms out for world bosses, so you get that more like epic scale. The boss is quite big. But what I don't like the fact is the fact that, for example, like DJ has an ultra wide and I don't, so that he can see more. But it's not just the fact that he can see more. It's the fact that, like, as it stands at the moment, teleport has like an infinite range. And Nico made a video of this. That if you can see more, you can teleport there. And Hydra as well. Like, you can summon Hydra at pretty much like infinite range. Like, if you can see it, you put your mouse over it, you can summon it there. So there is like a clear advantage to having either making a window like Nico did, because he doesn't have an ultra wide as far as I'm aware. He made a window and stretched it out as far as he could, and then you could literally see in the video that he could teleport further. He could summon, like, I think he summoned Hydra, or at least he teleported anyway. So you could do it. I mean, what I'm thinking there is, what was actually DJ, because you fought the world boss, when on your ultra wide, did it zoom out like mega?
Oh yeah.
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 How far can you, if it zooms out for a world boss and you have an ultra wide, like, can you just stand like the equivalent of 4 screens back summoning Hydras on the boss, and like the boss
I
can't
didn't
get
really
you?
play Summon Hydra, so I wouldn't know that. But I could teleport pretty far. I don't think there's a perfect infinite range.
Okay.
I do think that there is a limit, because I would like the boss. There was one thing that bugged me about the boss. When you moved, the camera would it felt like you were a character in the center, and then if you moved around a little bit, the camera didn't move a ton, but then, like, if the boss moved, it would follow the boss, and then you'd be at like towards the bottom right corner. Like, that thing was kind of weird to me in controlling the character, knowing like Lost Ark, I'm in the center at all times, unless there's like the Brelshaza thing where you move up. But whatever. Anyways,
Okay.
I think that it bugged me a little, but
Okay. Maybe just I mean, maybe that works. I mean, because it follows the boss, I guess, so you can like get a clearer picture of the fight that's going on. So it does that. So the boss becomes more of a focal point than your character at that point. But yeah.
I did like how far how much you could see. I think it does take away, and it builds a narrative that this monster is possibly way stronger and you are just an ant in its way. That kind of aspect of it, I like that. Like the David versus Goliath thing, you bring the camera out, you see all the attacks, and you're like, holy shit, this thing is gigantic.
Yeah.
Right? In Lost Ark, there's certain situations where you're fighting a boss where you're in the normal vision, and the boss is like like half of their bodies on the screen. Like the first bosses, you didn't really move the camera. Anyways, but I think that they did a good job with it. I did feel like I saw too much, but then again, playing on ultra wide, I think ultra wide is kind of the wave of the future when it comes to games in general, because you get that cinematic view, and it curls around. But
Maybe
I know
to
it's obviously not for everybody. Yeah,
maybe I'll have to get one at some point.
They're really great.
But for the rest of us, we'll have to put up with our standard aspect ratios, right?
I mean, like I said, it was for Lost Ark. I played on the other aspect ratio for so long, where you had the 2 black bars on your monitor. I was like, I can't. So
yeah, as well.
Yeah,
21:9. Yeah, I played Lost Ark 21:9, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you get used to it, but once you get that monitor, it changes. Because you play in your native resolution. There's no pixelation. It's all like you could see a lot. Obviously, the black bars are gone. And so
gutted Ben, yeah. Well, maybe it's the kind of thing that professional players or streamers or people, competitive players, maybe rephrase it. Maybe competitive players without ultra wides either might go out and buy one for Diablo 4, or do what Nico did and put it in a window and stretch it. So it might look a bit funny, but you can see more, and that will give you a sight advantage, maybe a teleport advantage, and maybe a summoning Hydra and anything like that. We don't know what else we're getting on, like, way down the line. Maybe there's skills that we don't see in the skill tree that are on, like, a unique. It gives you a skill. We don't know these kind of things yet. We haven't seen it. And maybe those kind of things could be really busted when you've got more aspect ratio, or you've got more screen real estate. You can actually see more. So maybe that's the way. Maybe it's something I need to test, because it definitely is something that I could do on my normal screen, stretch it out, set up the stream so that it's, if it's stretched on the stream, I could put like chat, if I got black bar down the bottom, whatever, chat and camera down the bottom. But maybe I'll just get used to it. Yeah. Maybe I'll just get used to it, and then that's like the way that I'll play, because I don't want to miss out on that advantage. Or maybe it's just like, it's not really a big deal, and it's more of a casual game anyway. And
I mean,
it's fine.
you could stream in ultra wide resolutions as well, so that you don't have the black bars, and like people watching on their phones or something like that, if they're watching in a horizontal portion, this is an ultra wide. This is 21:9 on your cell phone. So it could that, like I said, I think that is further in the future of the realm of possibility for ultra wide becoming more consistent.
Because PvP.
Yeah, PvP, like, obviously I'll have the advantage, so you guys are bugged. But
boned.
I'll be playing melee necro anyway, so it'll be fine.
You'll be summoning Hydras on us off screen.
Yeah, it'll be sick.
With ultra wide. That seem fair?
I mean, yeah, totally to me.
Totally, yeah. Just the Hydra just appears right next to me. I'm like,
monitors, dude.
Fuck, where is he? And I'm running left, but you're actually to my right. I don't know where you are. You're just off my screen with an ultra wide, summoning Hydras at my feet, killing me.
That was the whole thing with Lost Ark and PvP and Arena, is like a controlling vision, adjusting yourself on the left or right so that people couldn't see you attacking, because their monitor, the orientation in that game was, I'm side to side and you are viewing me. If I'm on your left or right, you're either viewing me for the top or bottom. That was a weird situation.
So it was like an easy way. It's like if on my screen I saw it that way, they saw it that way. So there was like like blind spots. Like this bit over here was like a blind spot. So although both people saw it like this, the map orientation was like the team saw it like that. So there was like blind spots, which is interesting.
Yeah, and so in PvP we had to play around that. In professional games, like when we were playing on the G4 tournament, like obviously playing around that was incredibly important.
Yeah. So, well, like Doug just said, hey Doug, by the way, there is a 0% chance that PvP will ever be even remotely balanced. Like,
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, even if you have like equalized areas, it's super hard to balance, and that's why balance patches come out all the time and things tweak and change, like, because you can never get it 100%. But it's just the fact that, like, in PvP, if one shots are a thing, because there's the game's not like equalized in any way, or so you can just go up with a powerful set of gear and go bam and just like one shot someone, and you can do that from off screen with an ultra wide monitor, right? It's gonna destroy PvP. Like, people aren't gonna do it.
Yeah,
you got some godlike character that, like, some hardcore player that just runs around and just like taps you off screen constantly, and you're like, what the fuck am I even dying from? And then you just see this person go and run over your body. Like, man, just like run past.
My chat making for getting second placed in like every goddamn tournament.
Oh man,
that was a time in Lost Ark. We got first place once, and then every tournament after that it was like second. I think it was 6 tournaments in a row, second place. Anyways,
like Hybridy's going, yeah, my lightning sword will be off screening you, Ben, 100%.
Yeah. When you see like a chain lightning coming from a mile away, and you're like, dude, what is this lightning snake doing? Oh my god, I'm dead.
Teleport, bam, because you can see me off screen, so you can see me just like running away, or like just running around, like not even know what's going on. Just teleport directly onto me and instantly like CC spam combo, and then like teleport off screen. Because this is the thing, right? This is even it. If you're 2 mages, one person with ultra wide, one person not. Say it's me versus you. We're both mages. You both got teleport, and I go, oh shit, you're kicking my ass, and I teleport to the edge of my screen to get away, bro. You can actually teleport past me. I can't get away. Like, even if your teleport's on cooldown, I would be running. You would run and then teleport past me, because you've got the advantage. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The same thing for sorcerers and Lost Ark.
No escape.
Like 2 sorks, I mean, ultra wide is it is an advantage, and whether or not it's a 1% or 10% advantage, any advantage is incredibly important in PvP. We all should know.
Yeah. So maybe when it comes to PvPing, stretch out that screen, boys.
Or you know, just don't and let me beat you up. Let me make content.
Me money. Lads, any more? Anything else you want to talk through? It's just we got the chat wars going on, boys.
Okay, hell yeah, hell yeah.
I really like this having both chats up. I really like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's been nice. And Sheriff also pointing out the 2 inches is huge. It's incredibly important. Every inch counts. Thank you. Thank you, America.
Man.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, if there isn't much more move aside content creator coming through, oh bro.
Raven, you see both chats on my screen. My chat's under me, and we put his chat under him.
Yeah, got 2 separate chats. Managed to do it because we're Giga streamers, and we can do things. We can do stuffs and stuff.
You saw the leak from Displate, right?
Did I?
The one where it looked like a Valkyrie, like an angelic figure.
Did I? I don't know.
So, there was this happened probably, I want to say like 3 months ago, where so Displate was sent 2 pictures that they were posting up on for Diablo 4 Displate.
Right.
They had the normal picture, which is the 5 characters. It was like the sorceress, the rogue, and then like down below it was the necro and the druid, and then at the bottom was the barbarian. Or something like the barbarian was in the center or something like that, up on this hill of bodies. And so it was that. And then they had another picture that was in the same art style, and it looked very, very, very like, obviously it wasn't Photoshopped. It didn't look like it was Photoshopped, but there was an angelic figure which looked like a Valkyrie or like a holy character.
Wow.
And then it was the barbarian was now at the bottom. And it was the same picture with the display. So ridiculous.
The chat was, bro. Can I point out how casually you were like on this like mound of bodies? Like it's just like just on this casual list. That's just, just like that normal mound of bodies. Just a mound of bodies there. Like, oh, bro.
Yes, it's super. Oh, this is the widescreen video for this is like giga ultra wide. This is like that's not even 21:9. That's like 31:9. What the fuck? For Nico's video.
Oh, can you bring it up in the
it was just in chat here. I'll send it.
Bring it up. Ah, lovely. I was going to say put it in the watch pie. Yeah, I'll put it in.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well.
Oh yeah, here it is. This is the Nico one. This one is busted.
Oh, perfect.
Let me see. Is it playing? I think I've got black screen again.
It was playing for me.
Yeah, I'm going to jump out back in.
Yep.
So I had like 100 like, rate this. How is your talk going? Like things pop up on Discord. Right, here we go. Let's go here and here. This is Nico's one. So yeah, so basically Nico has stretched out his screen because he's not on an ultra wide. So you can see a lot more. And he's saying about the fact that you got this fire bit here. And he's like up and to the right of it. So he's managed to teleport like up and to the right of that fire. And he then from the same spot on normal aspect ratio. Watch. So he got to here before on that stretched out screen and now there. So that's quite a difference in like vision and what you can see, what you can do. Like ultra wide is definitely if teleport isn't limited to like a screen, then it is such an advantage. I mean, just being able to see is an advantage anyway. And then he's
what I imagine
showcasing here how
happening
easy it is to jump
is
over.
that they probably won't change the ultra wide settings. They'll probably create distances on which you can cast spells.
Yeah.
So that's really the only way they're gonna really be able to do it. Other than like they can't force, they won't force the aspect ratio because they want their game to look good for people that are playing on ultra wide or
For sure.
different aspect. So we'll see if it's just a vision based thing, because that was one of the things for Lost Ark was that sorceress could teleport as far as she could see with her
Like identity
not
teleport.
her her identity
Yeah.
teleport.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyways. Yeah,
So
let's
extra
see.
distance.
We'll see how it goes. I think that if they add limits to how far you could teleport, it has the factor of like
I think
not
that's
what you
the
can
balance.
see, but where
I think that's the correct balance.
Also, like I would like to see like a League of Legends style of like so Flash is a very short distance in League of Legends, most people know that. But if you flash in certain parts of the map, you will guaranteed go on the other side of it. Since there is that aspect of a consistent map in this game, I would like to see them be able to do that. Like if you're like character's going to flash into the abyss, you would still not go into the abyss. You would go into the part of the map that you're able to. And that would give also the people that can't see that area the ability to teleport into that area.
Yeah, for sure.
If that was the case. That's just my opinion. So
don't show on stream. Brittany's just gone. Don't show on stream. Hold on.
Don't show this on stream, but show this to your eye. Right. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
That was like a full leak of like nobody's confirmed or denied it. Yeah. But it is something.
Definitely is something. Definitely is something. See how that goes. Pushing chat. Pushing chat. Hello.
Love it.
All right. Well. Oh man, what we at? We're at like just over 3 hours now. I suppose maybe 2.5 hours of the podcast.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, man.
Really enjoyed.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. This was a really fun. I wish we would have been able to do this in Lost Ark too.
Yeah, for sure. It's great.
Had it a long time ago. But I mean, thank you for agreeing to do this, and hopefully we can continue to do this again forward. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. It's hold on, it's near my thumb. Adjust it.
Can you ever so slightly tilt it? Obviously, make sure you don't put drink all over your equipment.
Yeah, hold on. It's right there at the. I don't know if you.
Oh, I can't see it properly.
Oh, let me move it closer.
Oh, wait, I think I can see something. He's got an ant in his drink.
Okay.
Oh god, in your hooterade. You have an ant in your hooterade and you're about to neck it.
I'm not gonna drink the whole damn thing. I can't get drunk before work.
Right, okay. Big gains, free protein, ant time. Oh, he's doing it! Oh, is it gone?
It is gone.
Oh, he drank the ant! Oh, bro.
Oh. I think the hooterade is worse than the ant.
Bro, I can't believe you just drank an ant in the the hooterade is, what do you say? It's worse than the ant?
Yeah, obviously. The ant went down fine. It was the hooterade that's the problem.
Oh, bro. -1 IQ.
Yeah, 100%. Oh,
is that from the ant or the hooterade?
Yeah, right. It's the hooterade for sure. The ant was fine.
Oh,